Sievertson. Democratic Senator Tim Kaine says he'll file a war powers resolution to prohibit U.S. military action against Oman after President Trump threatened to bomb that country if it gets in the way of U.S. objectives in the Strait of Hormuz. Trump today at the White House.
No, I don't think they behave very well, but we'd handle them very easily, just like we do other things.
President Trump ordering reduced U.S. participation in joint U.S.-South Korean military exercises that just started, saying they're costly and cause disrespect to North Korea's leader. Two U.S. officials tell ABC News that nothing has changed so far with the joint war games. Actress Hayden Panettiere has died at 36. She starred in TV series including Heroes in Nashville. Police in Greenville, South Carolina say Panettiere was found unresponsive at an apartment complex yesterday and that an autopsy found no signs of trauma and her death remains under investigation. Crude oil prices closed higher. This is ABC News. A judge in Texas is being asked to decide who will make medical decisions for a baby born with heart issues.
Under the contract McKenna West signed, the California couple paying her would have the option to terminate the pregnancy if medical complications arose. But when the fetus was diagnosed with a serious heart condition, West flew to anti-abortion Texas and gave birth. So it's a fight between McKenna West and the baby's biological parents.
And of course, you now have the states getting involved as well.
ABC News legal contributor James Sample.
This is a jurisdictional morass with a child in the middle of it.
A Dallas court will take arguments next week. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
The Supreme Court has refused for a final time to review its denial of a President Trump appeal. It upholds the $5 million judgment that Trump ended up paying E. Jean Carroll after being found liable for sexual abuse and defamation. Opening statements in Las Vegas for the murder trial of the man accused of killing hip-hop star Tupac Shakur 30 years ago. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Coming up, Seattle police give surveillance camera critics a look inside their real-time crime sensor. That's after Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
And this brought to you by Harbor Stone Credit Union. Got a new collision in Lakewood going southbound at South 96, blocking your left lane. You're backed up to the Tacoma Mall. North 5 in the general same area at South 72nd, a collision in your left lane. So we've got some pretty thick backups down there. Southbound 167 is heavy south of State Route 18 into Puyallup now. Renton to Puyallup is a 40-minute trip on your Valley Freeway. Heading into Seattle, North 5, scattered backups between the West Seattle Bridge and the Ship Canal Bridge. Just about 20 minutes to get through this. South 5, we're heavy from Ravenna to I-90, 25-minute trip from Linwood. In Bellevue to South Center, it's a half-hour trip, and we're thick from mid-Bellevue down to the VMAC. North 405, right before Northeast 85th, we've got a new collision. Unclear which lane it is blocking. That's how fresh it is. And if you're going through Everett this afternoon, Everett to Marysville, right around a 20-minute trip with our usual backups developing between 526 and 528. Earn up to $30 a month just for using your Harborstone PNW Cashback debit card. Open your free checking account online today at harborstone.com/cash. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo. Seattle police maintain their network of closed-circuit cameras is a necessary and effective crime-fighting tool. Today, the department gave privacy advocates a first-hand look at that system. As we hear from KIRO News Radio's James Lynch.
About a half a dozen community members first toured SPD's real-time crime center, then walked across the street to City Hall to talk about what they saw and what they learned. Members of Seattle Indivisible and Community Not Cameras Coalition believe the contract should be nullified and all cameras removed to protect the privacy of Seattle residents. Here's Speaker Cliff Cawthorn.
This is a Swiss cheese system. It is riddled with holes.
Cawthorn says he and others came out of the real-time crime center with more questions than they had when they went in. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Later today, opponents of flock cameras will rally outside Renton City Hall. The city there has already paused and covered its cameras while city leaders decide whether to renew the contracts. Meanwhile, in Kent, police say license plate reader technology helped them over the weekend arrest a man wanted in a child rape investigation. A 28-year-old Seattle man was arrested at the Gorge Amphitheater last night after an Olympia man died from suspected drug poisoning. The story from KIRO News Radio's Frank Lindsay.
As the Bass Canyon Electronic Dance Music Festival was going on, detectives learned of the 27-year-old man's death. His friends told them he'd gotten sick after taking drugs. He later died at the venue's medical facility. Grant County authorities say they learned the man bought the drugs from another person at the festival. Undercover detectives bought drugs from the suspect on Sunday before arresting him with cocaine, ketamine, and MDMA. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Crews battling a wildfire near Mount Rainier's Sunrise Visitor Center say containment is growing. Fire Information Officer Larissa Bogardus says their main focus now is protecting that historic visitor center by clearing nearby vegetation.
We've also put in a system of sprinklers that are fed by pumps and water tanks. So if fire should move this direction, we will wet things down very thoroughly.
The Sunrise Visitor Center and surrounding roads and trails remain closed, but the rest of Mount Rainier National Park is open. The Grand Park 2 fire is up to 57% containment after burning nearly 170 acres. That's your forecast. We have mostly sunny skies this afternoon. Tomorrow, some morning clouds. And mostly sunny skies for tomorrow as well. And highs will be in the mid to upper 70s. Right now, 74 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Well, happy Monday to you. Welcome to the John Curley Show. John is out today, but my name is Angela Poe Russell. I'll be filling in along with Mike Lewis. Good afternoon to you.
How you doing, Angela?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm feeling normal.
Even better.
Yeah, even better. Look, text us. We love hearing from you during the show. 888-973-5476. Again, that's 888-973-5476. We always welcome your feedback, questions to the Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line. I mentioned that word normal because I heard that we're supposed to have typical weather this week, and it's just felt like the summer has not been quite typical.
I don't know. I think it's been a pretty great summer in terms of weather. Mm-hmm. I mean, we did get a bit of some of the pretty smoky days, but that's, I think, going to be the new normal. Not even the new normal. It's been the normal for the last 5 or 6 years. The abnormal is when we get like a clear day in August and no smoke from any fires anywhere, which is, we're not getting that. But today is pretty nice. The rest of the week looks terrific.
Yeah. Well, listen, we know that because of where we live, this doesn't last long. And I want to talk about something that I think most of us deal with, especially during, the fall, the winter, depending on, where you live in the area. But I don't know think about where you live. Do you have above ground power lines or are they buried?
Above ground.
Above ground. Okay. So when we were searching for, it was something I never paid attention to, but apparently for some people that is a thing to bury your line. So there was this article that came out in the Seattle Times about hundreds of miles of power lines that are buried in the city of Seattle. And it was done in these wealthy neighborhoods because
predominantly wealthy
neighborhoods to kind of mimic the suburbs, to kind of, to be a little bit nicer, and everyone else paid for it. Well, guess what? The bills come and due because the infrastructure is aging, and now we are having an unbelievable number of outages. I'll get to those numbers in a minute. But herein lies the question. So now the bill comes due. This stuff has to be replaced. It's going to cost a lot of money. Who the heck pays for it?
It's a good question. I mean, first off, shout out to Seattle Times' David Croman. This story is so thorough and so interesting because this is the type of thing that you may be hearing about it for the first time. I'd heard a little bit about this, but not in anywhere near this detail. But it has actually been an issue that's been a public debate in Seattle for a long time, when a whole bunch of neighborhoods, and like you said, wealthy neighborhoods, let's just use
Laurelhurst, Queen Anne
as a great example, decided we're gonna put all the power lines below surface so we can get unobstructed views. Not that your views are bad from Queen Anne if the lines are above ground, but nonetheless, you get my point.
It's just not perfect, Mike.
It's just not perfect. But see now the thing is that we have Photoshop. We can remove all those lines from our beautiful pictures and may still make them look fantastic. But here's the thing: when you have these sort of issues, and now that these lines when they moved them subterranean, the problem with subterranean lines, of course, they're much more expensive to fix. Power outages last a lot longer because they're even harder to find where the outage actually is. And so you get a situation where, utilities, and we all pay into our utilities, and the utility then goes out and fixes in our neighborhood. We don't get an extra bill for that when it happens in my neighborhood if someone didn't trim their tree correctly or something along those lines. Queen Anne now is facing all these neighborhoods about $2 billion in either fixing these things and leaving them subterranean or moving them up where they're going to be, visible to all of us like they are in many other neighborhoods.
And to put in perspective how long because you were talking about how long they take to fix.
Right.
And when you've lived somewhere, you don't know what's normal anymore. But I'm going to put it in perspective because according to this article, again, well done by David, it said that in 2014, a fix would take 78 minutes, and now 145 minutes. So we kind of doubled, like more than 2 hours. And I would say that tracks because we have a ton of outages on our street.
Among the worst in the
country
in terms of utility response to power outages. And utility response to power outages when you've got a whole bunch of people who are, to some degree, some of them are well connected and they're calling all the time and they're calling their friend and they're calling some, these are people who actually are going to get on the phone and demand it to be fixed right away, and they're still getting reasonably poor service.
Yeah. So I want to, I guess I'm really curious to know about the pain. What this story highlighted for me was that while this is happening, we are having a change in leadership at City Light, which I don't know if it made huge headlines at the time, but in light of Mayor Katie Wilson firing Chief Sean Barnes, now it's starting to look like a pattern. It is typical that you have changes when you have a new administration. But at the time, people were saying this was a really bad idea. And again, with this latest firing, bad idea, I'm starting to wonder what's at stake here.
It isn't uncommon in a new administration to do this. This is pretty, when a new president gets elected, U.S. attorneys all over the country are removed and replaced. I'm not saying that this is I'm not saying this is a great idea on Wilson's part. I'm just saying that it's not an unusual thing. Greg Nichols replaced people. Ed Murray replaced people. Jenny Durkin replaced people. It's kind of happens, but in some cases, all of them destroy continuity in projects because suddenly all of these priorities, and when it's utility, to your point, these are years-long projects, and so rerouting things with a new administrator can be painful and expensive.
Right. Speaking of painful and expensive, Amazon is trying to prevent something like that because they've come out with a new terms of use. So the headline basically, and again, this was from the Seattle Times highlighting it, but it went out to all customers. So if you are an Amazon customer, this is nothing that you had to sign. If you are continuing to use Amazon in any way, whether it's through Prime or whether it's, in all the ways that we use Amazon, you have now agreed to this new terms of service. And the whole idea is that you can't get in on some big class action lawsuit.
Right.
So I almost worry this is like an inevitable thing that we've just surrendered to, because I think about cases like there was the crash involving the Uber customers and they couldn't sue because they said, oh, your daughter signed some agreement on Uber Eats. And then there was the Disney case where there was a lady who was a doctor, and she said, hey, I'm allergic. And she ended up dying because there was an allergen in the food. And then Disney tried to claim, well, you can't sue us because this terms of use when you signed up for Disney Plus.
Right.
They ended up settling the case. But the point remains, Mike. Is this...
Do you carry an iPhone?
Yeah.
Okay. You realize that what you opted into when you got that phone?
You mean, did I read all 50 pages?
Bingo. So you did. You opted into arbitration, no class act. This is the thing that's surprising the most about this story, honestly. And I agree. Because anytime you get a story that has Amazon in the headline, it's not going to be something that's going to make you feel better about your relationship with Amazon. All of these Amazon was a little late to the party in this one. There's so many things that you buy that automatically, and it'll be in all that small print. And I know one of the attorneys who puts this small print together, it is designed, one, for you not to read it, and two, not understand that you are essentially going into mandatory arbitration. This also happens when you get employed in certain places. You lose your right to sue, you go into mandatory arbitration. This is exactly what Amazon did here. Is this good for you? Absolutely not. They say it's a way to save you money and get your complaint answered and blah, blah, blah. It is not. It is a way for Amazon to protect Amazon against its own products being a liability.
But should there be some kind of guardrail in place? It's been happening since the beginning of time that companies will have these long contracts for you to sign. I completely get it. But when it comes to something important, that you are waiving your right to sue or you have to go into arbitration, something that clearly people would be surprised to know that they signed, almost like how when it came to lending and credit cards, the government came up with like, hey guys, you can't do this, or you need to notify people via special way. It almost seems to me like this has gotten so out of hand because there are so many services that are integrated. Like I said, with Uber, you could be dealing with driving from having food delivered. With Amazon, I could be having stuff delivered. I could be having, watching a movie, watching a TV show. It is infiltrated our lives in a way that there's no way any human being can read through that. I mean, we could dump it in AI. That's not foolproof. Would you be supportive? Of some kind of guardrail similar to what perhaps they did with the lending industry, the credit card industry, say, hey, here are some Bill of Rights about what you can do and not do.
100%. I mean, the way you handle it is the way the state recently, and this was years of fighting, the way the state recently handled non-disclosure agreements, which had gotten so pervasive. The stories in Washington State about somebody who worked in a stereo shop couldn't go work at a competitor's shop if they quit because of some sort of proprietary information they would have. This had gotten so pervasive that employers were just reflexively adding that NDA on every single employee, and then the state stepped in and essentially nullified them. And that was, so in this particular case, should the state step in and do this, especially the state that hosts original Amazon? 100%. I completely agree. The ability that you even engage with this company and suddenly you've waived all of your rights to be able to sue for a defective product or to join a class action suit based on something. You can still go to be fair to Amazon, you can still go to their own arbitration process. And if you like the way that works out, great. If you don't like the way that works out, you can go to small claims. But remember, small claims is exactly that.
And it's small, under 5,000 often, right?
It's capped on what you can actually. So if your situation ends up being larger than that, I mean, these companies worry extensively about class action lawsuits because that allows them to amortize the cost over thousands and thousands of people and do a big successful lawsuit. And it can be very expensive to these companies. I understand why they went out of it. But we should have some sort of protections regarding that. I completely agree.
Yeah, and I guess as an FYI, if you're a customer, lawsuits filed before Friday can generally still go through.
Yeah, get busy.
Get busy or stop using it. But
exactly.
it feels like it already happened. And here's what's wild. While this was going on, I get this frantic message from my mother that Microsoft sent her an email saying, hey, there's a new, terms of use.
Yep.
And of course, it's
I just
really
read that
long.
One,
yeah. Was there anything new in there that was, I'm going to admit, I put in AI. I was like, I'm working.
Yeah.
But I wanted to know what the major differences were. And it didn't seem like there was anything major like this.
Did you use Google's AI? Did you use Microsoft's AI?
I am not going to go there
this
with
is great.
you. Answer, I am not.
No, I mean,
no,
so
I
agree with you. And that actually is one of those things about using AI that's actually can be fairly effective because it can go through giant documents quickly and tell you, are there any differences between these two? I've read through it. I don't actually know whether there's a difference, but I can bet that there is.
Yeah,
and not one that works in my favor.
And what's wild is some of them will have, not saying Microsoft, but some companies will have things in there that we can change this at any time, and you agree to the change before you've even seen it.
This all factors into the we've discussed this at virtually every show at KIRO, the right to repair issue, like the idea that you never really own the problem occurred in the eastern part of the state. You'd buy a giant $500,000 John Deere combine, and because of the software inside of it, you were not allowed to fix your own thing that you spent, you mortgaged to pay for because you need this thing for harvesting, and you're not even really in full ownership of it. And if you alter that software, you lose your rights to get that thing fixed ever again. It was crazy. And finally, the right to repair legislation in various forms has moved through a few states, but it's exactly this type of thing, this sneaking in this thing that actually allows you no control over the product you've purchased.
Yeah, and I have to admit, I do struggle with this because I do tend to lean towards, to let businesses operate and then let customers choose, the whole idea of free markets.
Totally.
But it truly has gotten to the point, and I don't know if you all have felt this way or Joe, that I'll get something put in front of me and I'm like, the alternative is I don't sign it, but then I need these services. Like, you don't have a lot of options.
I mean, they could do something as simple as giving standards that it's a 1-page, 10 bullet point that tells you exactly what you are signing up for. Because what happens is try even reading that print if you're over 40 years old, and then try understanding what the legalese is that is designed to keep you from understanding it. Every new thing you buy, every new product, every new web-based service that you're paying for, your streaming services, all contain these disclaimers, and none of which are disclosed up front.
Yeah. I think we have a few more minutes.
Sure.
Okay. Well,
no, we do.
Okay. How do you feel about surveillance pricing? Like the idea of, because a lot of Seattle city officials, and honestly, this has become an issue in the country as AI has become more popular. So we have grocery stores trying to have what some people call the black box pricing, where they can study your trends, they can study who you are, and have that dynamic pricing where it's changing. And so we have some city council members working towards putting a ban on that. I'm curious about, where you fall on it. You love it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here's my argument, guys, for anyone that is into, free market and all this. Do we want grocery stores to be what the airline industry has become?
No. But I guess so. I have not yet read a story on the algorithmic pricing that has actually explained it very well to me.
Okay.
You get my drift? I mean, like the one we read today, I think I have an understanding, and there's been a couple in the New York Times and one in I don't know, Business Insider or something like that, and I read these things, and I'm still not quite clear on if they are if this is something that they're only offering, they're setting a base price that they stick to, and they're offering discounts only to certain people, or are they raising the price for some people and lowering the price for other people? And it wasn't clear to me what exactly was happening, because the stores would say they're not raising the prices on anyone. They're offering people, frequent buyers, a discount.
It's wild. So
maybe help me out with this, because I'm not sure I understand.
Yes. So Consumer Reports did this investigation, and what it found is they were giving discounts to some customers,
but not discounts to everyone,
and not others. And then what ended up happening is it was the lower income people not getting the discount. And so I was like, well, that doesn't make sense, right? That seems cruel. But that the thought process was that this person who comes here more and spends more money will offer them the discount. But here's the challenge with that. What this algorithmic pricing also allows them to do, if they know that you just had a baby, which means you need that diaper, you are less likely to try to go somewhere else, then I can raise that price for you because you're likely going to take it. And that's what's happened. I feel like that's what's happened, how AI is being deployed in the airline industry. It used to be you could go to different airlines and get different prices. When's the last time that's happened?
No.
Everyone's gotten the same price for everything because they're all being tracked.
Yeah, they're all tracking each other as well, and they're jumping up and jumping down at the same time. So, I mean, I kind of would, for lack of a better term, split the baby on this one. I don't mind them having a baseline price. And if you spend a lot in a place, that's it's always been that was standard before AI, that you would get a discount, right? The idea, though, of knowing enough about that you are particularly desperate for a product and raising the price is a whole different can of worms that I would find that should be something that, if that indeed is happening, that is something that I would, as a city council or as a state body, address immediately, because that's gouging, and I would say that that's unfair, and everyone who's wondering whether or not that should also apply to gas stations. I'm saying yes.
There's probably no end to where this can't be used,
exactly.
And then we're kind of hanging in the balance. Okay, let's find out what's happening on the roads. Let's check in with Nate. Good afternoon to you.
Hello, Angela. This report brought to us by Subaru of Puyallup and Kirkland. We just cleared a collision that had all lanes blocked momentarily northbound 405 and northeast 85th. So it left you with a real thick backup starting near I-90. Once you get to 85th, though, you're going to clear out pretty quickly. North 5 into Seattle, scattered backups before the West Seattle Bridge up to the Ship Canal. We had a stall on the Ship Canal Bridge for about 5-10 minutes there, and that's added to our backup. So it's now a half hour to get through downtown. South 5, you're heavy from Lake City Way into downtown, 40 minutes from Linwood. Seattle to Federal Way is at 40 minutes with our usual backups between Interurban Avenue and 516. Bellevue to South Center on 405 is a 35-minute drive, and down in South Tacoma, North 5 at South 72nd, we've still got this collision in your left lane. You're backed up solidly to 512, and then South 5 jams up approaching State Route 16 down to our crash scene. During the Subaru A Lot to Love event through August 31st, enjoy great financing on selected new cars at Subaru of Puyallup. Visit SubaruofPuyallup.com, your stress-free dealership. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
Tim had always been active, but severe osteoarthritis in his knee eventually took that away.
I was walking 3 or 4 times a week, 2.5 miles. I lost the ability to do that walking.
He went looking for answers.
And they said, we can either operate on the meniscus. The only other option we've got is knee replacement.
But Tim wasn't ready to do that.
Replacement takes 6 to 10 months recovery time. Wasn't interested in doing that.
So instead, Tim chose stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine, the most experienced in the Northwest, with over 20,000 stem cell procedures.
I heard the doctor on the radio, and he said, well, I think I can fix it. And I said, okay, let's go for it.
And today?
1 to 10, the pain level is around a 1 right now.
So whether it's a hip like I had, or a shoulder, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this rush hour ad to keep you calm, which could help your driving. And science says therapy is great for a healthy mindset. So enjoy this 14-second session on us. I think you've done everything right and absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, anything that hasn't gone your way could probably be blamed on your father not being emotionally available because his father wasn't emotionally available, and so on. And now that you're calm and healing, you're probably driving better too.
Liberty, 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 liberty. We beat box stores in design, selection, and price. Sound Kitchen & Bath's new signature cabinets come in stunning colors, stains, and styles at unbeatable prices. Why settle for box store design when you could have a gorgeous custom kitchen or bath from Sound Kitchen & Bath? We create one-of-a-kind spaces that are timeless. Great value from a team that cares. Call today. Sound Kitchen & Bath, soundkitchenandbath.com.
Nearly 1 in 4 people killed on the road in Washington weren't driving. Pedestrians on our roads are incredibly vulnerable, whether they're facing drunk, drugged, drowsy, or distracted drivers. Pedestrians are defenseless on our streets. That's why Davis Law Group fights for pedestrian accident victims and their loved ones after a crash. Davis Law Group delivers. So if you or a loved one have been injured, call Davis Law Group today at 206-888-8888 or visit davislawgroupseattle.com.
Paid political announcement.
If you care about keeping groceries affordable, listen up. Seattle City Hall is considering an ordinance that could put grocery discounts, rewards, and coupons, otherwise known as your everyday savings, at risk. As the cost of living continues to climb, Seattleites rely on grocery store rewards programs to help stretch their household budgets. Now, City Hall wants to take these away. The mayor's proposed fair pricing ordinance could have the exact opposite outcome and make everyday living more expensive for those already struggling to get by. Protect Seattle Savings is a coalition dedicated to defending the everyday savings that Seattle families rely on. We're working with the mayor's office to improve the proposal and keep costs down, but we could use your help. If you care about keeping groceries affordable, visit ProtectSeattleSavings.com to learn more and join the cause. Again, visit ProtectSeattleSavings.com now to learn more.
Paid for by Protect Seattle Savings.
Mom, she was living on her own and scared. We didn't feel it was very safe for her. And we found Aegis. Love it. Everybody is so welcoming and she is just so safe here.
She has serious Alzheimer's disease. When she sees me, she smiles, she gives me a hug, and we dance together.
Aegis Living helps you understand your choices so the right decision feels easier. Visit aegisliving.com and see why so many families say, Aegis Living, this must be the place.
Guys, if you have low energy or reduced drive, it could be low testosterone. At Revive Health here in Seattle, start with a free testosterone exam and consultation with an experienced medical provider. And for a limited time, qualified patients can get started with a free month of TRT. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit revivehealth.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granello. The Washington State Patrol has now issued an Amber Alert for a 7-month-old boy. The Clark County Sheriff's Office says Marcelo Martinez was taken by Raul Martinez yesterday morning in the Vancouver area between 5 and 6 a.m. You can see a picture of Marcelo and Raul on mynorthwest.com and call 911 if you see them. A suspected drunk driver in the hospital after being way over the legal limits. KIRO News Radio's Frank Lindsay has more.
An Olalla woman crashed her car into a ditch on Long Lake Road in Kitsap County on Sunday. Her blood alcohol content was 0.4%. That's 5 times over Washington's legal limit of 0.08. Crews had to use the jaws of life to cut the roof off and get her out. The Kitsap County Prosecutor's Office is reviewing the case for charges. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Researchers at the University of Washington say artificial intelligence may be carrying an old gender bias into children's stories. KIRO News Radio's Tim Hull has that story.
Researchers tested 6 AI models and generated about 24,000 stories involving animals. Professor Melanie Walsh says only about 2% featured female characters.
It's pretty disturbing, I think, and it really suggests that there's a ton of bias in these models that has not been addressed.
She says that needs to happen because kids learn about themselves and the world through stories. Her advice for parents is pretty simple. Think twice before relying on AI for that bedtime story. Tim Hull, KIRO News Radio.
Seahawks general manager calls it a win-win after one of their star players agreed to a contract extension. GM John Schneider describes cornerback Devin Witherspoon as a high-end competitor.
Obviously, the instincts, the anticipation, but just the juice he brings and the way he treats everybody in the building. It's just, he's a special person.
The 4-year extension keeps Witherspoon in Seattle for the next 6 seasons. The deal, worth $132 million, also makes him the highest-paid cornerback in NFL history. A new holiday hoops showcase is coming to Seattle. The inaugural Seattle Holiday Classic tips off December 19th at Climate Pledge Arena. It'll feature the Washington Huskies facing Baylor and Seattle University taking on Washington State. Tickets go on sale this Wednesday. 1 ticket covers both of those games. Now to the real-time traffic desk at 3:33. Here's Nate Connors.
Thanks, Aaron. This one brought to you by Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Everett to Marysville, just over a 15-minute commute. We're slowing between 526 and 528. Seattle to Everett, just a 40-minute drive. Not much in your way here. Bellevue to Everett, though, an hour. Your bumper-to-bumper backup starts at I-90, goes up to Northeast 85th. where we recently cleared a collision that had the freeway blocked entirely for a bit. South 5 into Seattle, heavy from Ravenna now in the downtown, down to a half-hour commute from Linwood. North 5, scattered backups in the West Seattle Bridge of the Ship Canal. Bellevue to South Center on 405s at 35 minutes. You're heavy through Bellevue, but after about Cold Creek, you'll start to thin out a bit. And we cleared our collision in South Tacoma, North 5 at South 72nd. It's over on your right shoulder. We've got a pretty thick backup coming out of JBLM up to 516, and then things clear out pretty quickly. Save $588 on every window and $1,088 on every door, plus free heat deflecting glass. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
A pretty consistent weather pattern for this work week with morning clouds and afternoon sunshine, highs topping out in the upper 70s. Could see 80 a couple of days. Right now, 75 degrees and sunny in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This hour brought to you by Home Comfort Alliance. Welcome back to the John Curley Show. Angela Poe Russell here. I am here. I'm Mike Lewis. And we're going to talk about something that fortunately we've got an expert right here sitting next to me about it. Seattle is like a lot of other cities in the country, wanting a little more than just slaking thirst when we order a drink. We want to change our whole outlook on life. That's a lot of weight for a single drink to carry, but apparently, Angela, it works.
Yes, let's talk about the rise of the functional drink. So many people have decided to stop drinking alcohol. And when I say so many, we've seen in the last several years like about a 10% drop, which is pretty significant. Some of that being caused by this growth of the non-alcoholic movement. Have you seen that in the bar space? More people wanting the like the mocktail, or
or they're just looking for one, a mocktail, two, non-alcoholic beer, or three, they're going for, say, a CBD drink or something along those lines. Non-THC CBD drink. You can't sell a THC drink in any bar in Washington State, but you can sell a CBD drink with no THC in it, and those are popular as well.
Okay, and that is the perfect transition because folks are wanting something more. So will this make me calm? Does it have protein? What about probiotics? What about the calming effects of mushrooms? Kombucha. Think Olippops. Think vitamins. Does it have any fiber in the drink?
Right.
I mean, this is the functional drink industry, and it's apparently gone from like a $175 billion industry in 2022, and in the next 3 years, it's expected to almost triple.
Doesn't surprise me in the least.
And now I have to tell you that I'm a believer. Because look, I've been to the mushroom places, and by the way, I'm not speaking of the psychedelic ones. I'm
Understood.
speaking of the adaptogens, all that stuff. And it was nice. And what else have I had? I've had the Olipop. Okay,
Right.
it's cool. But
Have you tried any of the CBD drinks?
no. Have you noticed a difference when you?
So I've tried them because we sell them, and it is. No, I didn't notice a thing, but I know that there are people who do. And so fair enough. I mean, honestly, everyone, even if you are drinking a drink with alcohol in it, everybody feels it slightly differently. So it wouldn't surprise me that maybe I am feeling something. I mean, it's not like I had electrodes attached to me and found out my heart rate dropped or anything like that. So no, but I am happy because there's a whole bunch of people who feel like absolutely it's true.
Yeah, the one drink where I noticed a remarkable difference. It was matcha, but it was from a specific place. So you have to understand, I love matcha. So I drink it all over town, from Bellevue to the South End, to Burien. I know everyone's matcha. So I'm at the nail place and I see someone with this drink. I'm like, where'd you get it from? And they're like, there's this new place and it's called Mina's Matcha. So I went to Mina's. It's in the Roosevelt neighborhood of Seattle. And
Angela's not a paid endorser.
I'm not. I swear.
She's paying them.
Yeah. It's become a discussion around our house because my husband is convinced they're putting something else in it. No, it's just matcha. I watched them make it. But apparently I asked the owner, I said, listen, whenever I drink this matcha, I said, not only do I get energy, but I feel hopeful and I feel calm and I don't get any crash. And it's like, it's different than drinking coffee. It's different than a 5-hour energy.
Yeah.
It just feels like, oh, it's a really beautiful day. And wow, everything that's wrong, I think I'm going to be okay. And And what's wild is that it doesn't interfere with my sleep. And then the next day, I still feel good. It's wild. So to the point where I will now drive 25 minutes to get this matcha. So I asked the employees, I'm like, what's going on? And they said she went to Japan to source it from a farm. So it's ceremonial grade. It has to do like with when it's harvested. And they also put 6 grams of matcha per cup versus most coffee shops that do 2 to 4. So
that makes some sense, right?
Yeah. And so I was like, what's ceremonial matcha? Okay.
Can I ask?
It's the first harvest leaves.
What? How much when you buy one? How much do these cost?
Oh, it's a lot.
How
but
much
I'll
is a
do
lot?
it. It's like $10
For 16 ounces?
For 12 ounces.
12 ounces.
And so I told my husband, I'm like, I think we just need to put this in our healthcare budget.
Let me ask you an important question. When's the last time you didn't have one?
Oh, I don't have it every day. That's how I noticed the difference.
Okay.
Because the place is 20 some minutes from me, so I can't go every day. But I would say before having Mina's, I would have matcha every other day because I don't want to spend $8 on a coffee every day. And I even have matcha at home. So I tried to do the same thing. I was like, okay, I'm going to make my own matcha at home and see if this gives me the same effect.
So you don't.
It did not.
The day that you don't have it, is that like a normal day, or are you noticeably? I'm fishing for signs of withdrawal here.
Does matcha ice cream work on you? Have you tried matcha ice cream?
I have not tried matcha.
I tried that in Japan earlier this year.
Can I give an explanation?
Sure. Yeah.
Because being a journalist, it wasn't enough to just talk to the owner, so I wanted to research it. I even asked a psychiatrist. And there's something in matcha called L-theanine, which is an amino acid. And have you guys ever heard of the supplement GABA?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's functioned similarly to that. And I went to a pharmacy and they actually sell L-theanine by itself.
Yeah.
So matcha naturally contains this L-theanine.
So here you go.
That's
Let's do a test. Don't have the matcha. Just take just take that chemical and see if you can tease out that that's actually the thing affecting you.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. It is an amino acid in the tea leaves and mushrooms, known for promoting relaxation, mental focus, and stress reduction.
Well, there you go. That's all the things you're talking about.
So could L-theanine be the new antidepressant?
Sure.
I'm looking to the text line to see, you know how you throw out something, you're like, okay, am I the crazy one here? I want to know if anyone else has had this experience with matcha.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to explain. Someone said, please explain what matcha is. Okay, so it's green tea, but it's a specific type, and it's ground into a powder.
Very, very,
very
finely ground.
And I have to warn you, almost like alcohol, in that when you first try it, you're not like, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing I ever tasted. Matcha has this very earthy, grassy taste.
Yes.
So like when my daughter had it, she's like, what is this? But I actually have grown to love this bitter, earthy, grassy taste. And the same way that you guys are like, oh my God, I like this bitter beer.
Well,
this.
to some degree, you're also loving it because you love the effect, right? I mean, that's the trigger in your head.
Are you trying to insinuate something?
I am absolutely trying to insinuate something.
As a former drug addict, it's amazing the things that you come to love.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah. Yes, but I'm just saying, you there are things like the pain of doing drugs or the awful taste of certain types, and you come to love them because of the
you know
effect
what's going to happen,
exactly,
right? Yeah, your brain
like,
creates a neural pathway for that.
okay, so I should try the L-theanine by itself to see.
Sure.
I think so.
I think it'd be
Report
good.
So
back.
I'm not addicted to the
curious.
cup.
Where's the place Mina's again?
It's in Roosevelt.
Okay.
Like Roosevelt, Wallingford, where they come together. M-I-N-A? Mina's? Yeah, I swear I'm not an endorser. I'm just telling you what happened.
Let's try it.
Okay.
All right, Nate. All of this discussion about well-being, I'm hoping, is going to extend on the real-time traffic desk. For the folks out there?
Sure. Some areas, but most not. This report brought to you by Harborstone Credit Union. Bellevue to Everett is already at 1 hour on 405, so we've got a bumper-to-bumper jam from I-90 up to 85th and Kirkland, where we cleared a collision not too long ago, but it had the whole freeway blocked for a bit. That's why it really jammed things up. South 5 into Seattle, typical backup from the U District in the downtown, half-hour commute from Linwood. North 5, scattered backups in the West Seattle Bridge. to the Ship Canal, about a half hour to get through this. Seattle to Tacoma, 55 minutes, and we've got scattered backups from Tukwila there at 405 all the way down to Wild Waves and Federal Way. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeways at 45 minutes. And east of the mountains, we've got a full closure on westbound 90 between milepost 106 near the Thorpe Fruit Stand up to milepost 90, where we've got a big old brush fire. Eastbound 90 is open for now, but it could close. No estimation when these lanes will reopen. Earn up to $30 a month just for using your Harborstone P&W cashback debit card. Open your free checking account online today at harborstone.com/cash. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio is right there with you.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
On your smart speaker before you head out the door.
We continue to be in recovery mode on northbound I-5.
Watch live on YouTube or the KIRO News Radio app.
Newfangled idea of having to see the people while they're talking.
The office, the gym, wherever you are.
Get on the YouTube channel. The whole gang's there.
KIRO News Radio. 97.3 FM. Powered by MyNorthwest.com.
Hey, it's John Curley with Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. Doc, I heard that 50% of Americans have their lenses replaced by the time they're 75.
That's exactly right, John. As we near 50, our eye's natural lens starts to become dysfunctional. If you've now added readers to your need for glasses and contacts, it's a sign the quality and function of your natural lens is fading, and it's a steady decline towards cataracts.
Don't go another 20 plus years with poor vision, hassling with contacts and readers. Do what I did. Choose a quick, painless refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE and start enjoying great vision now.
Our new lens technology is truly amazing. After replacing over 100,000 lenses, we have the experience to guide each patient to their best solution, even if that's recommending you wait a little while before RLE.
K2 Vision RLE can restore distance and near vision permanently, plus never develop a cataract. Read the reviews and schedule a free Zoom consultation now at k2visionrle.com.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years guaranteed? Now through August 24th, new Xfinity customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi this summer before it disappears. Just $50 a month for 5 years. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, it keeps you protected from online threats. And get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at Xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
If your home is 20 years old or more, it might be time to have your roof inspected. Your roof is your home's first line of defense, and at Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation, we'll help it last as long as possible. Our trained and licensed crew will evaluate your roof, repairing when we can and offering replacement options only when necessary. Plus, every new install comes protected with a full year of free maintenance on us. Visit GuardianRoofing.com today.
This is it. These are the nights. The ones where you laugh until you can't anymore. And smile until your head hits the pillow. Where everything feels just right. Because it is. Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Must be 21 and over. Please gamble responsibly.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8157. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8157. That's 800-575-8157. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Clutter happens. Let Closets by Design save the day. For a limited time, get 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. Go to closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN.
Thinking about a new roof or exterior upgrade, but worried about the cost? This is Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. We've created our summertime savings event to make it simple and affordable. Save up to $3,000 off your exterior project or get 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest up to 24 months. And every qualifying GAF roof is backed by our lifetime Golden Pledge warranty. One call gets you started. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today. Held to a higher standard since 1968.
Welcome back to the John Curley Show. Summertime is when a lot of us, even if you're not trying to, if you're passing through a neighborhood in Seattle, you'll eventually either be stopped by or you're headed to a farmer's market because they're in most big neighborhoods in Seattle have them. Turns out that we're better at farmers markets than I realized. Nice find by Joe. The Pike Place Market is rated by a group of folks who assess farmers markets in terms of, what's available, people's attendance, things like that. It was ranked number 1 in the United States, 10 out of 10 store, but also the Ballard Farmers Market was at number 4 with a 7.33 out of 10. Obviously, I think everyone in this room has been to has been to the Pike Place Market. Angela, do you ever go there?
I do. I love it. And I rediscovered it during the World Cup.
Good time to go.
Yeah, exactly. And discovered this great place kind of hidden that sells wonderful drinks and Italian food. And I just always have the best time. I don't even know the name of it, but I know where to go.
Not the Pink Door.
Well, no, it's not the Pink Door, but I have enjoyed the Pink Door. This is closer to where the throwing of the fish happens. And they have pizza slices out front. But if you walk deeper in, they have all this homemade pasta and homemade sauces. Yeah. And you go deeper, they have a sitting area where you can order drinks and you can, it's so cute.
Yeah.
And Pike Place Market has always been trouble for me because I just go and I eat and that's what my other one was the Wallingford Farmers Market.
Mm-hmm.
I loved going there when my kids were younger. I loved listening to the music and just trying the different food. And I don't know. I'm just spending time with your neighbors.
Yeah.
To me, that's part of it. What about you?
About the Pike Market, the thing I like about it, and I was talking about this off air, is the thing that I like so much about Pike Place is that I think it's the number 1 tourist attraction in Washington. It's like number 1, and then like Mount Rainier is number 2 or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike most tourist attractions, say Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco would be a good example. If you go to Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco, you are not a local, and everyone you see is also not a local. But Pike Place Market is a whole different category because it is what now I know that locals figure out, all right, sunny days, midday, I'm not going down there because it's super crowded. But generally speaking, I don't know that I go, 2 weeks without at least one trip down there for something, right? And, if it's flowers, if it's other things, if it's just to hit a restaurant, just to enjoy the atmosphere down there, I got to say, they got that one correct. It is, and remember, that thing was days away from being destroyed in the early 1970s when it was saved by Victor Steinbrook. And it was a former city council member. And it was literally, and that was the vision for it. It turned out entirely correct.
I love that. And I didn't know that piece of history.
Yeah. It was we came very, very close to losing that one forever. All right. What we're not going to lose forever probably is heavy traffic. Nate, how are we looking?
Yeah, you nailed it. It's getting heavy out there. Let's start you east of the mountains where we have a full closure this afternoon on westbound 90 between milepost 106 and Ellensburg up to milepost 90 near Clay Elum where we have a brush fire. So State Route 10 is the detour route. Eastbound 90, you're open for now, but that could change, and we have no estimation when these lanes will reopen. Bellevue to Everett, an hour trip this afternoon, 40 to Linwood. It's bumper to bumper from I-90 to Northeast 85th and Kirkland. From an earlier collision, we may still have the far right lane blocked, but after 85th, you're good to go. You're going to clear out right away. Seattle to Everett looking good at just 40 minutes. Bellevue to South Center, 35 minutes. Typical backups from 520 to Northeast 44th near the VMAC in Renton. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeways at 45 minutes. We're slow in Renton into Kent, and then it is bumper to bumper from State Route 18 into Sumner. Tacoma to Olympia, you're looking pretty good. Plan on 40 minutes to make this trip. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio is honored to bring home one of the nation's top awards in our industry, the prestigious National Edward R. Murrow Award for breaking news coverage. One award is the result of our team's hard work every single day, and none of it would be possible without you. You trust us with important information every time you choose us. Whether you listen over the air, on the KIRO News Radio app, or you watch us on YouTube, thank you.
Are you looking to buy a house, but like everyone, you're priced out of the Bellevue, Kirkland, and Seattle market? Many buyers have the income, the credit, and the desire to own, but simply don't have the down payment, often at least $75,000 just for a starter home. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue with a great opportunity for home buyers. Introducing our Legacy Opportunity Loan. Legacy Group Capital has a select group of 100 new construction, single-family, and townhomes in the top Western Washington locations. Acquire a new construction home with no down payment, allowable closing costs paid, and a competitive rate. Yes, that's no down payment and some closing costs paid by Legacy. A wise man once said, the hardest part of winning in real estate is just getting in. And now you can with our Legacy Opportunity Loan. So get in the game.
Limited properties available to qualified Washington borrowers. Learn more about this limited opportunity at LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital LLC and MLS ID 99045. Visit LegacyG.com for additional program details.
Did you know that nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all? That may be the reason why your home is way too hot in the summer and way too cold in the winter. It may also be the reason that your energy bills are sky high. Right now, Insulation Northwest is offering a free inspection of your home's insulation. This is a $199 value and it's absolutely free, no obligation. Just call today and Insulation Northwest will arrange a time that works with your schedule. We'll perform a thorough exam of your home's insulation and give you the advice you need to start saving thousands. Everyone who calls today will also receive a free infrared screening of your home using the latest technology. This will help reveal any hidden flaws in your home's protective energy blanket. What do you have to lose? It only takes about an hour and it's absolutely free. Call Insulation Northwest today, the real insulation company.
InsulationNorthwest.com.
Progressive knows you've never met Channel 6 meteorologist Daniel Hughes, but when he says it'll be sunny, you trust him. After all, he is a weather professional who knows how to use a green screen and probably went to weather school. You never went to weather school, so you hit the farmer's market in your convertible. Turns out Daniel Hughes is not dependable, but Progressive is. So bundle your home and auto insurance and get 24/7 protection and reliable coverage. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different.
TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
KIRO News Radio.
Get on the YouTube channel.
We're live all day on YouTube. Every show, every day.
Hang out with us. The whole gang's there.
And you never know what you might see.
Back up the camera. Oh, my God.
Just search KIRO News Radio, then subscribe.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. Mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. It's total control with one issue, says a cabinet secretary, after President Trump at the White House said the U.S. totally controls the Strait of Hormuz.
We control it. We control it with the blockade.
Trump's energy secretary, Chris Wright, in a TV interview referred to the strait still as a conflict zone where disruptions to ship traffic remain, impeding oil and gas shipments. President Trump ordered reducing U.S. participation in joint U.S.-South Korean military exercises, saying they're costly and cause disrespect to North Korea's leader. Retired four-star Army General Robert Abrams.
North Korea's military is significantly more dangerous today than it was in February of 2019. They have gotten bigger, stronger, and they have more capability.
Two U.S. officials tell ABC News that nothing has changed so far with the joint war games. The death of actress Hayden Panettiere in South Carolina is under investigation, police say. This is ABC News. A judge is continuing a hearing related to Nick Reiner until late October. Reiner accused of stabbing his parents, Rob and Michelle Reiner, to death last December. ABC's Trevor Alt.
He has pleaded not guilty. He's been appointed a public defender, but he wants access to more than $500,000 of that trust fund that he says he's owed because he wants to use that money for his legal defense. But a financial steward for the trust fund argues there is a piece of California law known as the Slayer statute that prevents a person from receiving trust fund money from a person they intentionally and feloniously killed.
This update affecting guac from ABC's Jim Ryan.
Mexican avocado pickers are back at work. They were sidelined by an American security alert designating cartels that operate in areas where avocados are grown as terrorist organizations. That alert has now been lifted. Shipments are resuming. The farm workers are back on the job.
Wall Street major indexes closed lower. Crude oil prices went up. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Coming up, the search is on for suspects after a bar fight in Pioneer Square. That's after Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
All right, Aaron. Bellevue to Everett are just struggling today at an hour and 5-minute drive. 45 to Linwood, all in this bumper-to-bumper backup from I-90 up to Northeast 85th, where we still have this collision blocking the far right lane. But once you clear this, 405 is wide open. Seattle to Everett, 40 minutes with pockets of crowding between Northgate and Mill Creek. Up in Alderwood, South 405 at Damson Road, we have a new collision blocking the right lane. Everett to Marysville, just over a 10-minute drive. Everett to Seattle, coming southbound, 45 minutes. Half hour from Linwood, it's packed at Lake City Way now, down to I-90. And North 5 gets packed at the West Seattle Bridge. From there, it's off and onto the Ship Canal Bridge. A half hour to clear this. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granello. A bar fight spilled out into the streets of Pioneer Square yesterday, landing one person in the hospital. KIRO 7 TV's Madeline Audley reports from outside the popular bar Cowgirls.
Police haven't confirmed exactly what time, but staff here tell me that their security was able to handle the issue inside. Police say it then spilled out into the streets where several people started shooting at each other. When officers came out here, they found several shell casings and recovered one gun as one of those people took off. A few cars were hit by bullets. Someone who works nearby sent us a photo of a bullet hole in their window that they found Monday morning. And we know one person was hurt. Their injuries not life-threatening.
And so far, no arrests. The staff at Cowgirl says it is working alongside police. Meantime, police surveillance cameras back in the spotlight today after privacy advocates toured the Seattle Police Department's real-time crime center. After viewing that network of closed-circuit cameras, they held a news conference at City Hall. Kathleen Carson is with Seattle Indivisible.
This infrastructure has not been demonstrated to improve public safety or help with crime clearance rates. However, it does introduce an enormous risk to our privacy and rights, particularly under the Trump regime.
Now, Seattle police say otherwise. The department says it is 3 times more likely to make an arrest when working alongside the crime center's camera feeds. In Kent, meantime, police say they used an automatic license plate reader over the weekend to catch a man wanted for child rape and sex trafficking.
The system flagged his vehicle Saturday afternoon, and police tracked him to his home where he was arrested. The 50-year-old was wanted by both Thurston and Grays Harbor County authorities. The same Kent officer who got the alert on Saturday and tried to help Thurston County catch him 2 days earlier, but he wasn't home that day. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Spokane County Sheriff's Office is investigating the first known death tied to the Old Trails fire. 73-year-old Pat Speedy was a hospice patient. Her family says she suffered serious medical complications while she was being wheeled out of a nursing home during a chaotic evacuation. Spokane Review reports Speedy died about a week later. Investigators say they will determine whether her death could mean additional charges for the suspected arsonist, in this case, Aaron Farinacci. And meantime, more than 200 firefighters are working to keep a wildfire in check near Mount Rainier's Sunrise Visitor Center. Fire Information Officer Larissa Bagardis says the team is making headway.
We've worked really closely with the park on making sure that, we are able to remove that vegetation that could carry fire up to those historic structures, but also, maintain the natural landscape to the greatest extent possible.
The rest of Mount Rainier National Park remains open. That fire has burned nearly 170 acres and is 57% contained as of this morning. So your forecast now, we are looking at mostly sunshine for this afternoon. The rest of the week look a lot like today. Morning clouds followed by sunny skies and highs in the upper 70s. Right now, 77 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Hello there. Good afternoon to you. Welcome to the John Curley Show. He is out today, but we have some... are we pretty competent? I think we're pretty competent, capable. We're going to give it a whirl.
Well, the issue always has been that it takes 2 people to replace one John Curley.
Yes, that it shows. Yes, I think that says everything. But we're happy to be here. We're glad that you'll have us. I'm Angela Poe Russell along with Mike Lewis. And we enjoy getting your text messages, your insights, views, or if you have questions, the Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line, 1-888-973-5476. 5476. That's 888-973-5476. I'm going to kick off this hour with a question. How do we make the Supreme Court less political, or is it just inevitable? I'm bringing this up because the debate is back in the spotlight with some Democratic lawmakers introducing policies, proposals that might change the makeup of the court or set term limits. Do you think we know we've been there in the past where we've had Supreme Courts where you couldn't always predict where they would go?
And it also historically hasn't only been 9. It's been there. The numbers were lower, then the numbers expanded. So the idea of adding seats is not anything new.
Yes. So can we get back to the age, though, where we had, you couldn't always predict where people would vote? do you think we can get back there?
I'm not sure we ever were there, honestly. I mean, if you look at the 1960s and the way the court was leaning, there were a couple cases, some justices who actually were very conservative but voted in favor of measures, particularly when it comes to civil rights, right? Those were outliers and caught people a little bit off guard. I'm not sure that necessarily the court should be apolitical to the extent that they are going to all bring their own experiences and their belief, because the political tension is sort of written into the Constitution. I don't know that we can actually get rid of it. But there is one idea in this whole circle of ideas. I don't agree with adding more seats.
Yes.
I think the one thing that would be incredibly fair, regardless of political persuasion, is the 18-year limit. And there's a reason for that, because it's not a reason for politics, it's the math reason for it.
Okay, so tell me your reason. And just so we can throw out some of the ideas that are there.
Yeah.
So there is the proposal to go from 9 justices to 13.
Right.
There's the 18-year term limit.
Right.
There's also this idea of having a panel of justices that when there's a case that comes up that they are, you have some randomly selected for a case, so that's been there. So you are zeroing in on the 18-year limit. So why go from lifetime to 18?
Lifetime, I think, lifetime makes it such a massive power shift to the Supreme Court away from the other two branches. I mean, when you've got a lifetime appointment, I'll bring you back to a great line from former President Jimmy Carter. When somebody asked him, this wasn't about the Supreme Court, somebody asked him about Joe Biden and Donald Trump at fairly advanced ages running for president. And he said, and he was, I think it is like 95 at this point. He said, I've been 80 and I've been president. I wouldn't want to do them together. That's an excellent point. And that I love that line because and we're talking about Supreme Court justices now who, if they get appointed in their 40s, which we have had happen in this current administration. We've had it happen before. If they get appointed in their 40s, think about it. Think how much of history they are going to be voting. Now, maybe they're voting a way I agree with, but I still don't agree with it as an idea. Someone can sit in that seat for 40 years making pivotal decisions on where the country is headed. If it's somebody I agree with, I guess I should like it, but I don't even like that.
See, for me, I like the 18-year rule for different reasons. I'm not as worried about them having that amount of time to have such an impact. But I think about what happened with Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, where you feel like people stay on and you wonder, do they still have
I agree,
mental
100%.
capacity? There's
100%.
that part. I also do worry about the corruption piece. I know the whole purpose of the lifetime was to prevent that.
Yeah,
but
make them immune to political pressure.
To make them immune
blah, blah, blah.
and all that kind of stuff. But I also worry that it can be the other side of the same coin, in the sense that you have this lifetime appointment, and so it kind of gives you this immunity from maybe doing all the right things. Like, I wonder how it works with their investments, and how do you prevent bias when it's kind of impossible to not have some kind of bias. So that would be one reason to have a turnover that still makes it a meaningful appointment without it being for life.
So here's the thing. Like, the nice thing about it is you have people who can work all the way into, let's say that they are 50 before they get an appointment, or 55 or something along those lines. Weirdly enough, as another parallel, this is why the Catholic Church will only appoint popes who are 70 and above. They do not want anyone there for that length of period of time. It's kind of an interesting idea. So here's the other thing about 18. 18 is not just like an arbitrary number. 18 means essentially this, mathematically. Every president gets two appointments. This is because it's 18 is double 9, right? The math works out. And then if you're a two-term president, let's use, Donald Trump or Barack Obama, you get 4 appointments. 2 terms is the maximum. So the maximum any president can get is 4. And generally speaking, if you're a one-termer, you get 2. Now, this isn't going to work. This is the math over time. This is not going to be exactly that for every president, but that means regardless of party, and as parties switch, certainly after 2 terms they switch frequently, every president is going to get appointments, and that is largely going to stagger and balance the Supreme Court in itself. I don't think we should add any more seats, and I do not think there should be a lifetime appointment to anything.
Would you be for adding seats if you felt like we were going in a direction? Let's say someone's trying to take over an election, or someone's like something really bad is happening in our country.
That's something.
Would you be for, pulling the emergency thing and saying?
Do you think right now on the Supreme Court something bad has happened in our country?
With the Supreme Court decisions?
Yeah, right now. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. No, I'm not.
Yes.
I'm not challenging you on this. I'm just asking. Well, all right. So if you add numbers, that could get worse. Like the idea that you add seats that it suddenly means that it's better is not necessarily true. I mean, we have remember in our lifetime, I'm older than you, but we're both people who've been on the planet for a little period of time. Look how much it's changed then. I mean, adding another 3 seats or 4 seats or whatever it is that you want to add does not guarantee in any way greater balance.
Yeah. I want to chew on this.
It could make it worse.
I want to chew on this notion. You brought up the Catholic Church and the reason they appoint popes when they're over 70. Yeah. That was a fact I did not know.
It's generally regarded. The last time they made the mistake was Pope John Paul II.
The mistake? Did you say the mistake?
They have called it a mistake, because they got a pope who was there for 20 some odd years, and they historically don't want to do that because they understand it's such a powerful position that they want be able to make a change when a change needs to happen. Now, this is voted by the College of Cardinals, right? This is not a public vote, and the Catholic Church is the Catholic Church. But I would say that I can understand why. And that used to be that you had a career in law, you spent time maybe at a firm, you spent time as a judge, as an attorney, maybe with the Department of Justice, and then you were in your 60s, and that's when you got into the Supreme Court. Then it started marching backwards, and we have people, just over 40, they're going to spend a lifetime.
A long time.
And I feel like there's a problem with that, regardless of whether they're liberal or they're conservative.
I'd have to agree with you because I would like to think, and Joe, I don't know about you, Mike, but I feel like I am wiser at the age I am now.
Totally.
Like I just have more experience. I have more insights. I'm more knowledgeable.
Probably more compassionate in some ways, too.
I'm better.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I almost think we could borrow a little bit from the church in that sense. I'm not saying maybe appoint people when they're 70, but I do think that there's something about youth that we get passion, we get ideas, we get innovation, but there's no replacement for experience.
Totally. And if you think about it, like if you go into the Supreme Court, let's say the 18-year thing happened. You go into the Supreme Court, let's say you're 60. You're 78 is the oldest you could possibly be and stay there. Who here thinks that this is a problem? I don't know of anyone who does. I mean, and we all know from people in our own families, like there are actual measurable cognitive slips that happen. They happen to a degree at 70, although that varies quite a bit. At 80, it's almost impossible to argue. And at 90, we know. And there are people, like you said, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but there's many.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Alita right now, like the people who are definitely like pushing that limit, and they have clerks, and sometimes they're propped up by really, really excellent staff who really know their stuff. But the fact is, that's the final decision maker. And if someone came on the speaker when I'm flying to visit my family in, say, Colorado or something like that, and they explained to me that the captain is 82 years old, I'm concerned. I'm concerned.
And I'm not
the
saying that
seatbelt's dangling out the door. I'm concerned.
And I'm not
this
saying,
is a problem.
and I don't think either of us are saying that there aren't exceptions.
Absolutely,
but in general, there are just rules. There are just scientific things that happen.
We all know.
We all know that, for a lot of us, our eyesight just falls off a cliff at a certain point. I'm starting to see that right now. But there's another story related to the Supreme Court, and important to bring up because this has to do with the president and this legal trouble he's had with writer E. Jean Carroll over her claims that she was sexually assaulted. Well, the Supreme Court rejected his final attempt to overturn the $5 million civil judgment against him. So you may recall it was 2023. when Carroll accused Trump of, I'm sorry, it was 2023, the jury found Trump civilly liable for sexually abusing her and for defaming her, awarding her the $5 million in damages. Carroll testified that Trump sexually assaulted her in the dressing room of a New York City department store in the 90s. He's consistently denied wrongdoing. Trump appealed the verdict, but lower courts upheld it. And in June, the Supreme Court declined to hear his appeal. But then he's like, I need you guys to reconsider. And right now, they're saying it's not going to happen. That's where we're at right now.
There's a couple of things happening here, I think. There is the fact that legally, the Supreme Court obviously made a decision that there's nothing for them to do here. It's already been decided. And they're very careful and sometimes. Like if they feel like there's no new law to be explored here, we're not going to change it. But the other thing going on here is that I do feel like subsurface, there is a strong desire by the Supreme Court right now to show that it has issues where it will not cater to the president's needs. It has shown in some other issues, I think that there is Chief Justice Roberts, I think, is concerned about this public perception of the Supreme Court, and this is kind of a slam dunk. Hey, look how independent we are from the president. We're not rehearing this.
We're not his tool.
Bingo.
We're not his tool.
And I think this was an easy one for them to grab a little bit of credit in that regard.
Yeah, I would agree. Now, what about this other? There is also hanging in the balance this other judgment. It was, let me just pull this up. It was $83 million. Okay, so he's appealing that verdict. So that one is still hanging in the balance. And I want to say the argument he's making isn't necessarily an argument that he didn't commit defamation, but it's that he was immune because he was president.
Yeah.
And while legally maybe that will work, that I sometimes just hate it when anybody is able to win on a legal grounds versus yeah, but did you do it or are you guilty? But it's nope, it happened on this date and I was president that date, or a myriad of other reasons that people are able to win based on technicalities.
It's like winning on a sporting event on a penalty. It's one of those things that takes away.
So I guess my question, does he have a point here?
So it has been mixed. This Supreme Court has given extensive powers for presidents regarding executive orders, levels of immunity. I mean, there is a good legal rationale for some level of immunity if you're a president. I mean, there is a good. Does that extend to every aspect of your life, including libel and slander and other things like that? That is actually an open question. You can find Supreme Court cases, you can find other lower court cases that sort of validate a president's claim to immunity, and some that obviously don't. And when you said it, if you were in office at the time and not, I mean, whether that immunity extends, whether it goes, and these are all argued, whether it goes back to the beginning of your time and extends beyond your term, those are open questions right now, and I don't know the answer to
Now,
those.
I don't know if you remember when that trial ended, and I remember, the judgment coming down, all this stuff, and I can't remember, I think he was president at the time, but he came out and he just starts talking and I was like, no, you're getting yourself in more trouble. Stop. That was not good. So that one is still hanging in the balance. I know we still have a few minutes left. So let's talk about patient health records. We would like to think they are confidential, but a federal appeals court has sided with the Trump administration in a fight over records, and this is because it has to do with a health clinic that provides gender-affirming care, including to some minors. Specifically, it's QueerDoc. It's telehealth clinic. The Justice Department subpoenaed the clinic, seeking a broad range of records, including on patients receiving puberty blockers or hormone therapy. But a judge in Seattle blocked that subpoena. Well, and I remember if you go on the website of QueerDoc, this happened last year. They were saying, hey, we won. But now this is saying, nope, the case is basically reopened. And it doesn't seem like they'll have to turn over those records now, but they are in a vulnerable situation.
Very, very vulnerable situation. I mean, this has become one of those issues. I mean, unlike, say, immigration, where the worm is kind of turned against the conservatives on this, on the economy, on tariffs and things, that it is kind of turned on the idea of trans rights. It is not turned. That is one of those very, very polarizing things. And I think that the administration is going to, one, this helps the administration push harder into that area. But two, this is not going to change for the rest of the election cycle, these sort of stories about this, because it seems to be, and you look at the WNBA and how the narrative, what's been talked about is, we don't want biological men in women's sports, and there's a lot of science that is combative over this whole idea about what muscle mass remains, and are you actually genetically that different? All of those sort of things. This thing actually has, if you want to know why you're hearing about it a lot and why the Justice Department is filing lawsuits on this, it's because it has traction with folks. It has a lot of traction with folks. This is an emotional issue. It no matter what minuscule amount of the population we're talking about is, it doesn't matter because it actually has traction. I think the administration is going to keep pushing on this all the way through the election cycle.
All right. Well, great discussion. Thank you all for listening to the John Curley Show. I'm going to check in with Nate now to get a check on traffic. Hi there, Nate.
Hey, Angela. This report brought to us by Seattle Sports. Bellevue to Linwood, a 50-minute commute this afternoon. We're bumper to bumper starting just north of I-90 up to Northeast 85th, where that right lane remains blocked from this long-term collision. Once you clear this, though, it's pretty smooth all the way into Alderwood. Bellevue to South Center, 35 minutes. We're packed from 520 down to the VMAC. Here in Seattle, South 5, you're bumper to bumper from Ravenna down to I-90. Linwood to Seattle at 35 minutes, and North 5, you're going to jam up just before the West Seattle Bridge, and that carries you to the Ship Canal Bridge. Half hour to clear this. Seattle to Federal Way, 35 minutes. Now, our usual backup through South Center is pretty much cleared out already. You're going to eventually jam up near South 200th down to 516. If you're heading Tacoma to Olympia, just a 45-minute commute. And out towards Sultan, eastbound too, there's a solid 4-mile backup as you head into downtown Sultan. Just volume here. Download the Seattle Sports app to stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Dear Ursula, I have a group of friends who have bonded over...
Hi, I'm Ursula Voitin from the G and Ursula Show, and I'm launching a new podcast called Ask Ursula. This is your space. Real life, real questions, whether it's about family, friendships, love, and yes, even the fun stuff like travel and finding your signature scent. Hit me up and ask your questions at mynorthwest.com/Ursula. I look forward to connecting with you.
At mynorthwest.com and the G and Ursula YouTube channel.
Some parts of the house just don't seem to work anymore. Like the closet that you open it up and you don't even bother looking in there because it's so jam-packed with stuff. Things fall out all the time. Or you can't quite put the car in a 2-car garage because one side of the garage is just full of stuff. Same thing can happen in the laundry room. There's just stuff all over the floor. There's no place to store towels or anything. You know what's happened? It's a closet design problem when you think about it. And maybe even gone as far as having to rent some sort of storage unit to put stuff. Maybe because you just need those rooms, those spaces to be better laid out. And that's where the experts at Closets by Design come to the house. And they customize, truly customize. They see the problems that you have, and they fix them for you. You don't pay the big price, though. 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months, 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. I can tell you when they came to the barn in Cle Elum and did the great work, I am a believer in Closets by Design. 1-800-BY-DESIGN. That's 1-800-BY-DESIGN.
Give your attic an overhaul with new insulation from Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation. Stay cool all summer, slash utility bills, and boost your home's air quality. Call now and get $300 off attic ceiling and ventilation. Or visit us at guardianroofing.com.
Our founders believed that freedom wasn't just a word. It was a way of life. The freedom to move forward, the freedom to pursue what matters most, the freedom to live fully. But aging has a way of taking those freedoms away. That's why there's Longevity Medical Clinic. John Curley here. My best move was becoming a patient of Longevity Medical Clinic years ago. And second best move, getting my wife, Nicole, to join me this year. Stop guessing and start working with a doctor who knows your goals and get personalized care designed around you, not the average patient. Discover what's holding you back and what can help you thrive with longevity. Aging is natural, but some of the effects are undesirable, and you don't want to have to just accept it. So this year, as we celebrate 250 years of freedom, ask yourself a simple question. Are you living with the freedom you deserve? Get real answers about your health and get your free health analysis at Longevity Medical Clinic. Find out more at lmclinic.com.
Summer is for going big.
Julio! Dead
center field. Solo home run, 4-0 Mariners.
Summer is for showing out.
Crawford, out of the glove. Emerson to first. What a play.
Summer is for Mariners baseball.
Cal Raleigh with an RBI double. The big thumper comes through in the clutch.
Where else do you get 9 innings of eye-popping swings and snags? Plus fireworks that make your feet dance and your jaw drop. Oh yeah, and the guys have a dance of their own. A wind dance.
Party time at T-Mobile Park in the sunshine.
Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
The action continues at T-Mobile Park all summer long. Don't miss out on 2 great matchups later this month. Julio and the Mariners are squaring off in back-to-back interleague series against the Chicago Cubs, August 21st to 23rd, and the Philadelphia Phillies, August 24th to 26th. Get your tickets at mariners.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8157. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8157. That's 800-575-8157. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Guys, if you have low energy or reduced drive, it could be low testosterone. At Revive Health here in Seattle, start with a free testosterone exam and consultation with an experienced medical provider. And for a limited time, qualified patients can get started with a free month of TRT. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit revivehealth.com.
Spike O'Neill here. If your loved one's caregiver is planning a vacation or just needs a break, why not consider Aegis Living Respite Care? A short-term stay that provides 24/7 expert care, Aegis Living amenities, and peace of mind for you and your family. Go to aegisliving.com/spike to schedule a visit today.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. The man accused of shooting and killing a 17-year-old boy over a necklace in Parkland made his first court appearance today. Judge set bail at $10 million for 21-year-old Brandon Torres Mesa. KIRO 7 TV's Jake Chapman reports he spent 2 months on the run after Braylon Diaz was robbed and killed.
Torres Mesa now faces charges for aggravated murder, first-degree murder, and unlawful possession of a firearm, and is being held on a $10 million bail. Prosecutors pointed to the fact Torres Mesa was able to run to Mexico, as well as his previous gun cases here in Pierce County, as a reason why he should remain in custody.
His next court date is set for September 24th. An Olalla woman was hospitalized Sunday after she crashed her car into a Kitsap County ditch. Sheriff's office there says her blood alcohol was 0.4, that is 5 times Washington's legal limits. Prosecutor's office is reviewing the case for charges. No other cars were involved in that crash on Long Lake Road. Seahawks locked down one of their biggest stars on defense. 3-time Pro Bowler Devin Witherspoon signed a 4-year extension with Seattle, keeping him here for the next 6 seasons. General Manager John Schneider tells Seattle Sports 710.
Well, it's a win-win. It's a great deal for Spoon. It's a great deal for the organization. He'll be with us for the next 6 years now, next 6 seasons, and he's such a great guy, such a high-end competitor.
That deal is worth $132 million. That makes Witherspoon the highest-paid cornerback in NFL history. You've got 2 weeks left to say goodbye to Kitoko. KIRO News Radio's Frank Lenzi explains.
Kitoko is the Woodland Park Zoo's 6-year-old male gorilla. He's heading to a new home at another accredited zoo where he'll join a bachelor group of young males. The zoo says the gorilla's bachelor stage of life can last for several years as he learns from the others how to navigate gorilla society. Eventually, he'll move into adulthood and possibly start a family. You can see Kitoko through August 31st. His final destination won't be announced until he gets there. Frank Lenzi, KIRO News Radio.
And we turn now to the real-time traffic desk. Check in with Nate Connors.
All right, Aaron, Bellevue to Linwood, 50 minutes. We're bumper to bumper at I-90 up to Northeast 85th. We just cleared that long-term collision from your right lane, so this is going to open this up for you. Right now, once you get to 85th, though, it's already pretty much wide open ahead of you. Bellevue to South Center, 35 minutes. Here in Seattle, South 5, it's bumper to bumper from Ravenna down to I-90. North 5, you're packed just before the West Seattle Bridge or the Ship Canal Bridge. Seattle to Federal Way, a 35-minute drive. Again, it's unusually clear along South Center. Right around South 200, you'll jam up, but just past 516, you're in the clear. Now, out towards Sultan, eastbound 2, we've got a 4-mile, really thick backup heading into downtown Sultan. And an update east of the mountains, westbound 90 has reopened after about a half-hour closure between Ellensburg and Cle Elum due to a brush fire. So right now, I-90 is all clear. It's that detour route, State Route 10, that has about a 4-mile bumper-to-bumper backup approaching Teanaway. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you, Nate. Now to the forecast. We are looking at sunshine at this hour. Tomorrow, more of the same. Morning clouds followed by afternoon sunshine, and that's the pattern for the rest of the work week. Right now, 78 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Start your day with solutions, not problems. KIRO 7 pinpoint weather and real-time traffic every 10 minutes. From storms to backups, whatever you run into, you'll be prepared. Stay up to the minute every 10 minutes. KIRO 7 pinpoint weather and real-time traffic only on KIRO 7 News in the Morning.
And this hour is brought to you by Bucky's Auto Repair.
Welcome back to the John Curley Show. John is out filling in, myself, Mike Lewis, and Angela Poe Russell. Angela, so far, pretty strong news day. Lots of good stuff to talk about. This one is a story I think both you and I like a lot, and we like it mainly because I think that it's hard to decide whether or not something you use frequently is something that you should not use at all or that other people should not use. And of course, the discussion is going to be where half of every discussion ends up these days, AI, but in particular, writing. And it turns out that there is a bit of consternation among academics, among teachers at every level, college, high school, grade school, probably preschool at this point, about the student use of AI and that they are now losing the capacity to write well on their own without AI help. And there's some studies are showing enormous percentages of what kids are turning in now has been written by someone who is not the kid, typically AI, and that there's a move afoot to make kids actually still learn how to write in a manner of their own ideas, creating their own sentences, using their own words, and not having something else do this work for them, because not just because they should know it, that might even be debatable, but because it actually builds these cognitive pathways. It allows them to be, much more fully intellectual students, and it teaches them to both problem solve, memory, how sentences are structured. It allows them to be able to read other writing and know whether it's potentially good or not, or needs fixing. And then there's a whole bunch of academics who say, wait a minute. But maybe they don't need to do this anymore. Angela, how do you feel about this?
No, I don't trust it. I think this could be one of those cases where it may be okay for adults, but for developing individuals like young people, there are some muscles they need to build. Like, I think about the way I use AI now, which is I may write something and then instead of giving it to someone to read for feedback, I might, run it just like you might run through spell check or whatever. But what I worry about is what are my kids missing, or what are our kids missing out on when you don't have to problem solve anything? So thinking about the way it used to be before we had GPS, and you had to get directions from someone. You had to actually think while you were driving. And you know what? You may have to stop and get out of your car and talk to people and get directions and confirm that piece of it. Learning how to read a map. I had a broken dishwasher recently and was able to send a photo to AI, and it was able to tell me how to fix it. And so,
did you fix it?
Yes, it was a simple thing, But my point is that would have cost money before, right?
Absolutely.
It was a simple fix. It wasn't
Right.
anything complicated. But the point is that there was this problem-solving thing that my brain had to engage in when it was younger, and it allowed it to be flexible and adaptable. And if we don't let our kids do that in the same way that we stopped, look, there is all this proven stuff that's good for your brain just from the process of actually handwriting.
Yep.
When you
Taking
actually
notes by hand as opposed to...
Yes, when you put a pencil or a pen to the paper. And what did we do? We gave kids a bunch of iPads and just type here and do your textbook here. This isn't working. I don't see any evidence that kids are moving in the right direction socially, emotionally, or academically in general.
So here's an interesting thing about this. I was racking my brain to where could I find a similar story that happened, say, from my childhood. And then I found it, and it was super obvious, and I should have thought about it right away.
Okay, I'm skeptical, but I'm listening.
So the panic when electronic calculators became ubiquitous, so pre-electronic calculator, when they became affordable, like used widely in schools, 74, 75, right around then, they became introduced to the public about 72, 73. But that's when the prices just kept like they did with home computers, rocketing downward. And suddenly everyone had a calculator. And teachers were saying, these people will know they'll be able to do calculations. They won't know the rationale behind the calculations. All of this did happen. And what it did was it pushed out the other tool prior to that. And I don't know if you're familiar with this. I bet that there are some retired Boeing engineers who not only know about this, but have used it. And that's a slide rule. The last slide rule was the way you did engineering calculations through the 1960s and the 1970s. You were flying on airplanes, and the Apollo space missions all depended heavily on the slide rule. Now, I'm not going to get into the detailed slide rule. I did teach myself a while back how to use one, and I barely got a level of understanding, and then I just couldn't. I don't know that I could do it again. But here's the thing. We went from slide rule to calculator, and this was supposed to be this dramatic downturn in people's math cognitive abilities. Didn't happen. Now, I'm not suggesting that the writing thing is identical, but I think it's a decent comparison in that the panic was that people are not going to know how to do this thing. But it turns out that they actually did fine. And what turned out over time is dovetails with what you said. If you know the basics, if you knew basic math prior to using a calculator, that skill isn't going to go away. But the calculator can put you in a place where you can do all kinds of complicated stuff that you could not do easily and take so much time to do, and you would be much more. It's not even a fair comparison on how much more accurate. Even if you know how to use a slide rule well, you can only go out to like three digits to really get an accurate calculation. You can go out to infinite digits on a calculator to get an accurate calculation, which I don't know, if you're building an airplane, I think kind of want it as accurate as possible. The idea is that there are things that we can set aside to machines and still have those cognitive powers that we have, even if they're not being used to this thing. There's all kinds of other things that they're going to have to be used for.
But isn't that if we choose it? Like I would imagine the schools, even when the calculator, was invented and was started being used, that we said, hey, we're not going to have it in the classroom. We're going to still teach you your times tables, and we're going to still give you a test. I mean, now let's say when you take the SAT, our kids are able to use a calculator for certain things. But when it comes to writing, they have to sit there and write during the AP exams.
But originally, they were not allowed to take a calculator in those environments.
That's
as well.
fair.
And so they decided that, look, this is what a professional is actually going to use. They need to know how to use a scientific calculator to be able to get to this place. Should they be able to do it in the test? And initially, teachers opposed it. Then one of the national teaching organizations about a decade later said, now, not only did they buy in, they said mandatory that you allow them to do that. So, and I'm not saying that this is a perfect parallel, but what I'm saying is we should probably at least listen to the argument. I think I wrote for a living. So I am 100% a believer in that. I think reading is very important to building those pathways in your head, and I think writing is also very important. And so I'm not an opponent to this. But I wanted to challenge my own thinking, and it turns out that this calculator slide rule comparison is not a terrible one, in that we'd completely, the last slide rule, I mean, that was the only way we did math, right? Big, heavy math. The last slide rule was manufactured in the United States in like 1973. It was 3 years after the calculator came in. That's how quickly it was eliminated from engineering tools. Yeah. I know there's still people out there who do it, but I think it's an interesting thing. I'm in your camp. I think that these are important things to learn.
Yeah, I just think we have to protect the kids as long as possible so that they're able to have some struggle and not make it so easy.
And on the primary education end of things, I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah. All right. Well, great discussion. Thank you, Mike. And let's get to Nate. Traffic.
Thanks, Angela. Federal Way, we've got a new collision, South 5 at South 300th. It's blocking your far right lane. You're backed up to South 188. Seattle to Federal Way, up a bit to 35 minutes. And then, of course, further down the road, it jams up at State Route 18 into Fife, which is always there in the afternoon. Renton to Puyallup, southbound on 167, a 40-minute drive. Now, the north end doing all right. It is thick between Algona and Puyallup in the south end. Bellevue to South Center, 40 minutes. We're packed from 520 to the VMAC. Bellevue to Linwood, going north, 45 minutes. We're still thick between I-90 and Northeast 85th in Kirkland from an earlier crash, but from there it thins out pretty quickly. Seattle to Everett, 40 minutes. We're crowded from Northgate into Mill Creek, and Everett to Marysville has already improved to a 10-minute drive. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those words weren't written for history books. They were written for you. But it's hard to pursue happiness when aging is part of everyday life. John Curley here. Longevity Medical Clinic was created to help people with overall wellness and longevity, including diabetes management, heart health, weight management, inflammation reduction, nutrition, cognitive health, hormone therapy, and more. I can tell you from personal experience, being a patient for 17 years, I have a richer, fuller life, and I'm better able to pursue my own happiness. As America celebrates 250 years of independence, give yourself the chance to reclaim yours. Independence from aging. Take control of your health before small issues become big problems. Experience a smarter, proactive approach to aging, backed by decades of experience with longevity. Do what I did and feel like yourself again. Get your free health analysis at Longevity Medical Clinic. Find out how at lmclinic.com.
I want a woman. I want a big girl.
See the hysterical Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias when he takes the stage at Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Saturday, August 29th at 5:30 and 9:30 p.m.
This way, we both can agree on the temperature of the thermostat.
He's sold out stadiums around the world, and now he's coming to Muckleshoot Casino Resort on August 29th. Get tickets before they're gone to laugh out loud with Gabriel Iglesias at muckleshootcasino.com.
Jane is a small business owner. Tell them what that's like, Jane.
Yeah, well, it's like a roller coaster with a lot of ups and downs, and some days things can feel like they're flying off the rails.
Yep, it's a lot. But the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business can help you manage it all. With the largest, fastest fiber-powered network designed for 100% reliability with business internet and wireless connect.
Nice. So everything stays on track.
The Total Solutions Advantage. No one does business like Comcast Business.
The more solutions you add, the more you save. Get started today with a qualifying internet package for as low as $60 a month when you add an advanced solution. Plus, new customers, ask how to get up to $1,500 in prepaid cards when you add 2 lines of mobile to a qualifying gig bundle. Don't wait. Call today. Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. New customers only. 1-year agreement, paperless billing, and automatic payments with bank account required. $60 offer requires 300 meg internet, security edge, and additional qualifying service. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Prepaid card offers end 9/13/2026.
At Sound Kitchen and Bath, every kitchen is custom. Hi, this is Tammy Michaels. We've created thousands of beautiful custom kitchens featuring gorgeous cabinetry and finishes with extraordinary woods like American black walnut and cherry. All design styles from mid-century modern, traditional, contemporary, and more. We excel at custom kitchen design and will make the process easy and enjoyable for you. Sound Kitchen and Bath, soundkitchenandbath.com.
Looking for a simple solution to hair loss this summer? Get the same breakthrough one-day treatment I received at Advanced Hair during their once yearly summer savings event. Your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day, and Advanced Hair guarantees it will grow. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar during their best offer of the year. For details and a free consultation, call 425-449-8185, advancedhair.com.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Jason Rantz here. If your water heater is getting older, leaking, or running out of hot water, CM Heating has an affordable solution. Get a new gas or electric water heater installed starting at just $44.99 a month. With CM Heating's Comfort as a Service program, you'll get lifetime repairs and maintenance at no extra charge. Parts and labor covered for life. Plus, same-day installation is available in many cases. Schedule your free estimate today at cmheating.com.
License number CMHEAHL 750LP. Paid political announcement.
If you care about keeping groceries affordable, listen up. Seattle City Hall is considering an ordinance that could put grocery discounts, rewards, and coupons at risk. The mayor's proposed fair pricing ordinance could have the exact opposite outcome and make everyday living more expensive. Protect Seattle Savings is working with the mayor's office to improve the proposal and keep costs down, but we could use your help. Visit ProtectSeattleSavings.com to learn more and join the cause.
Paid for by Protect Seattle Savings.
This is Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Our summertime savings event means 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months, backed by our unbeatable warranties. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Welcome back to the show. It's been called one of the most nerve-wracking moments in sports. No, it's not the 3-2 count at the bottom of the ninth. It is not the winning field goal. It is the thing that happens before the sporting event even begins. The national anthem.
I'm laughing because we all know.
From the extended KIRO family, it turns out that we have, I guess, someone you probably know reasonably well.
Yes.
Who apparently just killed it at the national anthem for the Storm game recently. Tell us the story.
Yes. So my daughter, Maya, she is a singer, recent high school graduate. And about a week ago, someone from the Storm reached out and said, hey, would you sing the anthem at the Seattle Storm game? She's a huge Seattle Storm and WNBA fan, so she jumped at the chance. And yeah, so she didn't have a ton of time to prepare, but she sings the anthem. She sung it at her high school basketball games, and she sung it a few other places. So she was...
Well, you've got a pretty musically talented family anyway, you included, right?
I mean,
yes,
I do a little something, but I think with anything,
you wrote a musical.
Kids. Oh, I did write a musical, yeah. But I feel like she's way better than me. Like
Have you ever sung the national anthem?
No.
I mean,
never.
Other than being you've never done it once?
Never.
Would you if someone asked?
No.
Why?
Because
it's
I don't
that
want to
scary?
sing.
It's terrifying.
Well, yes, it's scary. It's a hard song to sing because it goes low and then it goes high.
It's a very hard song to sing.
Yeah,
yes.
It goes low and then it goes high. And then even though you know the words to it,
right?
It's like, when all the spotlight's on you, messing that up because it is the national anthem.
And we have so many famous videos of people messing it up.
And then now with social media, any mess up, and it's like everyone can hear it, see it, feel it.
Well, she did not mess it up. And we were lucky enough to get a copy of the video.
Ooh. I haven't seen the official.
Can you see
by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let's hear it one more time for Maya Russell.
There you go.
Pretty great. How old is she?
18.
Wow.
How proud must that make you?
Very proud and also nerve-wracking. Like, it's very intense, and it was an honor for her.
I think she did the right number of flourishes too. She did a really beautiful job.
It's a balance, right?
Yeah,
you want to do just enough.
Exactly. Just to put a little bit of yourself in there, but let the song do the dictating.
Yes,
of what's
I want to hear
happening.
that Marvin Gaye one you were talking about.
I got it ready. We'll have to come back for it.
Yes, we'll come back for it because you said this is your favorite one.
And one of my second favorite, make it real quick, is when former coach of the 76ers, Maurice Cheeks, the young woman who was singing, panicked.
Oh, that's right.
And he steps up next to her and sings it with her.
Aw.
It is the sweetest thing. One of my second favorite national anthem of all time.
Okay. Well, we got to throw Martha Reeves' rendition
Well,
in there.
there you
too.
go. There's another great one as well.
there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then we've got some pretty bad ones out there we won't mention right now. What we will mention, actually, maybe we're mentioning a little more pretty bad ones out there. How is it looking, Nate?
Hey, you know what? We're actually starting to see some improvements out there after kind of a rough start a couple hours ago. So Federal Way is our only blocking issue right now. It's South 5 and South 300th in the right lane. You're backed up to South 188, Seattle to Federal Way, up a little bit to 40 minutes. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway, just a 40-minute drive this afternoon. The north end is where all your slowing is. The south end, south of State Route 18. Bellevue to South Center, 40 minutes. Bellevue to Linwood, we're down a bit to 40, another 20 if you're heading into Everett. Still slow between I-90 and 85th. Seattle to Everett, 40 minutes. 40 minutes to Everett, 25 to Linwood, and it's crowded from North Gate into Mill Creek. Eastbound 2, we have a 6-mile backup between Monroe and Sultan. It's just heavy volume here. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Marvin is a dentist.
I couldn't really do my work in the office as easily. There was some pain moving around, and then sitting was difficult.
Hip arthritis and a labrum tear were making it difficult to do his job and threatening something he loves even more.
Doing some overseas mission work, and that wasn't going to happen if I had to try to sit on a plane for 15 hours to get to where we usually go.
Orthopedic surgeons gave him a few options.
They said, well, you got like 3 choices. You could do surgery, and then he said you could just plan for hip replacement.
But Marvin had already seen another option work firsthand. His wife, Leslie, had multiple stem cell procedures with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine.
I'm pushing my way back into fitness, and that's been great.
Rowing, running, cycling, and planning another mission trip to Africa. So whether it's a hip like I had or a shoulder, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
At Carrier, we know that a comfortable home is a happy one. Whether it's with innovative breakthroughs in heating and cooling efficiency, or with different ways to control your home's temperature and air quality, we are always imagining new ways to make your home totally comfortable.
Turn to the experts and let your local Carrier heating and cooling dealer improve your home's comfort and efficiency. Visit CarrierNorthwest.com to find an expert near you. Carrier, turn to the experts.
Hey, I know something you probably haven't done in a while. Climb into your crawl space or your attic. Yeah, me neither. Mike Salk here. And most homeowners avoid those areas for good reason, but it's important to check on them regularly, especially here in the Northwest, where groundwater can wreak havoc and many homes lack the proper insulation in these spaces. So when it's hot in the summer, your house gets even hotter. And guess what? When it's cold in the winter, your house gets even colder because you don't have enough insulation. The good news, you don't have to crawl into those dingy areas because Crawl Pros will do it. They go where you don't want to. That's what they did at my house. They found a little rodent intrusion and they found the insulation problems. So yeah, they can help you get it all fixed just like they did with me. And if you need any work done, local utility companies offer rebates that could save you thousands on your project. Don't just assume that your crawl space and attic are in great condition. Do what I did. Call Crawl Pros today. Schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
Certain industries expose workers to hazardous chemicals. If you worked in a paper or pulp mill, or in aircraft manufacturing or painting at Boeing, and have a child born with birth defects, your child may be entitled to legal damages as a result of your exposure to such chemicals. Birth defects have been linked to toxic chemicals, metals, and solvents used in these industries. If your child was born with brain or spinal cord damage, organ or limb malformations, blindness, cerebral palsy, genetic damage, or other birth defects, and you're a past or present worker in a paper or pulp mill, aircraft manufacturing, or painting, contact us now toll-free at 1-866-99-TOXIC. Your children may be entitled to legal damages. If you're a past or present worker in a paper or pulp mill or aircraft manufacturing or painting at Boeing, and your child has a birth defect, call toll-free at 1-866-99-TOXIC. Your call is confidential. 1-866-99-TOXIC. Message authorized by Weinstein Cajano, 600 University Street, Suite 1620, Seattle, Washington.
Pet decorator wood floors are not only gorgeous, they perform better than all other wood floors. Here's a few examples. The patented finish is made to last a lifetime. Antimicrobial and no VOC. Waterproof. Easy installation with a lifetime warranty. The most pet-friendly wood floor anywhere. Available at Sound Kitchen and Bath. Call today, petdecorator.com.
With Guardian Roofing Gutters and Insulation, maintenance is the key to a long-lasting roof. Need an inspection, repair, restoration, moss removal, or just a cleanup? Call us today. Our first-time customers can save $99. Visit us at guardianroofing.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio. KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
ABC News, I'm Stephanie Officer. Word of actress Hayden Panettiere's death hit fans like a ton of bricks, which seems to be the consensus on social media. The 36-year-old was found dead Sunday of cardiac arrest in a South Carolina home after traveling there from Los Angeles the day before with her on-again, off-again boyfriend, Brian Hickerson. Hickerson's family was reportedly made aware of Panettiere's death Sunday. Hickerson himself has not yet made a public comment regarding the matter, but has a long history of domestic abuse against the Nashville star. There are flash flood watches all across the Ohio Valley. The Midwest, you're not out of the woods yet either. ABC meteorologist Leslie Lopez.
West Virginia just recorded their wettest August day on record. Severe thunderstorms are also on the move from Tennessee to western North Carolina and Virginia. Damaging wind gusts and large hail from Omaha to Kansas City. As Ohio Valley dries out, a new cold front will bring severe storms to the plains tomorrow.
This is ABC News. President Trump faces a fresh round of criticism over a potential conflict of interest after his own Treasury Department approved a bank charter for a crypto company run by his own family. ABC's Jay O'Brien.
Started in the months before Trump returned to the White House, World Liberty used to list the president, his sons, his Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff, and Witkoff's sons on its website. The page appears to have since been removed. The firm's deals, including in the Middle East, have helped Trump's personal gains from crypto balloon, earning upwards of $1.4 billion from his family crypto businesses alone last year, according to his financial disclosures.
Police in London had to euthanize a stag after a man in his 60s suffered injuries to his chest when the animal attacked him while picnicking in a park over the weekend. Wildlife officials now urging visitors to avoid feeding deer in the park after noting several social media posts of visitors interacting with the animals, saying they're getting too comfortable with humans. I'm Stephanie Officer, ABC News.
Coming up, Seattle police give surveillance camera critics a look inside their real-time crime center. But first, Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
Thanks, Aaron. For the most part, it's a Monday light commute after a kind of a rough start earlier. This report brought to you by Global Credit Union. South 5 and Federal Way at South 300th. We still have a collision blocking your right lane. So we've got a thick backup starting at South 200th. Seattle to Federal Way has climbed to 50 minutes. Tacoma to Olympia looking great this afternoon, taking just 35 minutes. Bellevue to South Center, 40-minute trip. You're packed from 520 down to the VMAC. Bellevue to Linwood heading north is at 40 minutes. Add on another 15, 20 minutes if you're continuing into Everett. So we're slow from I-90 into Kirkland. Once you get into Totem Lake, things thin out for you. Seattle to Everett, 40 minutes, 25 minutes just to Linwood. It's crowded from Northgate into Mill Creek, but you are close to the speed limit here. South 5 into Seattle is packed at Lake City Way to I-90. North 5 heavy from the West Seattle Bridge to the Ship Canal Bridge. And on the water, the Mukilteo Clinton Ferry Route reporting 1 hour wait for drivers on both sides. And we have a 1 hour wait for drivers at the Kingston Ferry Terminal. Global Credit Union, where members enjoy no-fee accounts and early payday with direct deposit. Learn more at globalcu.org. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good evening. I'm Aaron Granillo. Seattle Police today opened the door to its real-time crime center, giving privacy advocates a first-hand look at that network of closed-circuit cameras. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has more.
About a half a dozen community members first toured SPD's real-time crime center, then walked across the street to City Hall to talk about what they saw and what they learned. Members of Seattle Indivisible and Community Not Cameras Coalition believe the contract should be nullified and all cameras removed to protect the privacy of Seattle residents. Here's Speaker Cliff Cawthorn.
This is a Swiss cheese system. It is riddled with holes.
Cawthorn says he and others came out of the real-time crime center with more questions than they had when they went in. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Now, Seattle Police have said officers are 3 times more likely to make an arrest when working with that crime center's live feeds. Meantime, no arrests yet in a bar fight that ended up with a man shot in Pioneer Square early yesterday morning. Police say they found more than 30 shell casings after several people got into a shootout outside of Cowgirls on the corner of South King Street and First Avenue South. KIRO 7 TV talking with neighbors.
It kind of deters me from going out around here at night, especially like bars, clubs, stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of better to just stay home, you know, or like just hang out with your friends at like their apartments, things like that.
A 21-year-old victim was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. A 28-year-old Seattle man was arrested at the Gorge Amphitheater last night after an Olympia man died from suspected drug poisoning. Story from KIRO News Radio's Frank Lindsay.
As the Bass Canyon Electronic Dance Music Festival was going on, detectives learned of the 27-year-old man's death. His friends told them he'd gotten sick after taking drugs. He later died at the venue's medical facility. Grant County authorities say they learned the man bought the drugs from another person at the festival. Undercover detectives bought drugs from the suspect on Sunday before arresting him with cocaine, ketamine, and MDMA. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
New college basketball showcase is coming to Climate Pledge Arena. The inaugural Seattle Holiday Classic will feature a doubleheader with Washington versus Baylor and Seattle University taking on Washington State. Tickets go on sale this Wednesday. One ticket gets you into both games on Saturday, December 19th. Now to your forecast. Clear skies for tonight, morning clouds tomorrow, followed by afternoon sunshine and more of the same throughout the rest of the work week. Highs each day in the upper 70s, right now 79 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Well, good afternoon to you. You are listening to The John Curley Show. I'm Angela Poe Russell, along with Mike Lewis, filling in for John, who is off today. Thanks so much for being with us. Keep in mind, you can always text us, 888-973-5476. Mike, you heard a few moments ago Aaron talking about the camera debate, and it is only heating up. There's a lot of new stuff to report on that. The first thing you should know, I was not aware of this. There is a national week to oppose automatic license plate readers. It's the I know that I guess there's a national week for everything.
Just
There's
about,
Pancake Day, but the National Week of Action Against ALPRs. And so there was that tour today that happened with that group. Then they went to the city council and Renton. There's supposed to be a protest against cameras. And so this all heating up. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, you've got what appears to be strong public sentiment that's like, you know what, we want this. And there was a new poll that was conducted by the Seattle Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce and Challenge Seattle. Former Governor Christine Gregoire is part of that. But Como was reporting the results of this, and it showed that 75% of Seattle voters support allowing cameras to be used following a 911 call to assist with an active investigation. You've been covering news a long time in this area. Do you ever recall a time, I'm sure it's happened because Seattle and the area can be a little politically crazy sometimes, where it seems that policy is so out of step with public sentiment?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and here's the thing. On policy like this, on the cameras, would be a good example of that. Sometimes the policy is out of step with public sentiment at a given moment, but it's not necessarily out of step with public sentiment prior. My point being that there was a lot of worry in Seattle when I was a reporter that there was a lot of, it was early on when there was a lot of scanning of license plates and a lot of when a lot of the automatic tolling systems came into place, and these are not new systems technologically, and people were worried about, well, wait a minute, you tell us you're using the data for this thing, and then you're using it for that. When people started embracing 23andMe, and then 23andMe, the genetic research company that tells you your ancestry, but also finds genetic markers for, say, Alzheimer's or heart disease, they were getting concerned that these companies were getting asked by insurance companies about your own genetic data and whether or not that should be made available to them. Because then, trust me, insurance companies will not find a way to charge you less. They will find a way to charge you more. And so I think people's concerns about the atomization and distribution of our data from social media, where we did nothing at all because we got a free product, right? We did nothing at all. We were the product, it turns out. We did so little. We did so little about that now getting unhappy about, and I understand getting unhappy about surveillance cameras. I don't disagree with people who are. But wow, I mean, it feels to me like we're carrying around tracking devices as it is, and your phone and my phone and our cars, which now can be tracked very effectively by many of them having an uplink to whatever the maker of that car is.
Yeah. This is an unusual time, though, right?
This is an unusual
I can't
time.
recall in recent memory where we've had ICE enforcement the way it is.
Right.
And so definitely huge concerns about neighbors who are worried about being targeted by ICE, especially when you have these documented cases of people with no criminal record being detained and not being able to contact family. I mean, that's horrific. So that's scary.
Absolutely.
Then you have people who might be coming here to seek abortion services because some states are trying to use technology to get around that. And then you have the gender affirming care piece. I mean, there are so many reasons that these advocates against these things are saying, hey, it's too scary of a time to do it. But then if you're in charge, at the same time, Aaron just reported it. We had that shooting outside Cowboys. That's the name of the place, right?
Cowgirls.
Cowgirls. Thank you. Cowgirls. And the cameras were turned off.
No. And you had this ongoing craziness at Seattle Center where it turns out there's about 80 cameras that were on, but they were all from cell phones, and we still don't have resolution on that. And that I always assumed, and I've got a business very close to it, I always assumed there are cameras on at Seattle Center. And I was very surprised to learn that they're not. And I was a person who believes
wild to me.
in privacy laws. It doesn't bother me at all in the giant public spaces in Seattle that it should just be an assumption. Look, you're in a giant public space. There is a concern that overwhelms your worries about what the data could be used for. I mean, all you can hope for is that the data is collected and there's big, giant, legally enforceable guardrails on what that data can be used for. Because there are, for example, tolling booths actually have guardrails on what they can use the data for and what they can't use it for. It seems to me you could turn on the cameras, as much as I'm a person who believes in privacy laws, in those big public spaces and put some rails on what you can use that for. I would hope that would be effective.
Yeah. So when you have so much, because also what's coming out are the stories of other communities that are utilizing the technology and the results of that. We had the situation in Kent. Police were saying that this officer was on patrol. He received an alert, the automated license plate reader notification that a vehicle registered to a child abuse suspect was near a certain street. So they were wanted. This person was wanted by Thurston County for second-degree rape of a child. They ran the plates. Police showed the warrant. They were able to show up at the guy's home. Done. They were able to get someone they had been looking for.
Right.
So you see stories like that. We had the Seattle Center situation. You just had the situation at Cowgirls. You have this poll, and I only gave you one piece of data from it. I mean, and on every metric, they were like 71% support cameras in areas dealing with open-air drug markets and high levels of street disorder. And they said this was, and these were 500 residents that are voters. And they said even when they raised concerns about surveillance and privacy and civil liberties, this is how they still felt. So if you're someone in charge and making these decisions, have you just decided that one group's concerns are more valid than the other?
Well, that's sort of your job as a politician, right? To decide on that one group is, because rarely is anything 100%. So you have to make that hard call. And sometimes it's not clear. I mean, if you're Katie Wilson and Mayor Katie Wilson in Seattle, you've got a constituency that is very much against creating what is called a surveillance state. And there's a whole bunch of people, though, in town in the Chamber of Commerce. Now, the Chamber of Commerce is going to always bring the business point of view. That's their job as well. And so the business point of view is like, wait a minute, if there's a crime in front of my place, I want to make sure, one, that it's safe, and two, that people feel safe going there. And maybe they feel safer knowing that the government is watching, right? And if you're a business owner in Pioneer Square, you're a business owner, in Westlake Center, you're a business owner around, as I am, around Seattle Center. I mean, that whole episode was chilling. We literally had people run from Seattle Center into the bar, right? And that is not, and then the city's complete lack of information, terrible coordination between the mayor's office and the police department. At least that's what we know from the outside, because no one's saying anything. But that sort of information should have gotten out a lot earlier than it did. And historically it has. I don't know if cameras would have helped that. I would certainly like to think that it would have, but I don't know. I mean, this is a difficult thing. I think, at least in the big public spaces, that's something that the city should strongly consider.
Yeah. All of you listening, I have a question, and I'd love to get your opinion. And I honestly can't believe I'm asking it, because it seemed like it has a simple answer. What should happen to shoplifters? What should the consequence be? By the way, Joe, do we have the sound from this morning? Any of the from Charlie?
Not at the moment, but I can try to get it.
Okay, while he gets that. Yeah. So what triggered this conversation is Charlie Harger, the host of Seattle's Morning News, was talking about some arrests that were happening at a Fred Meyer store for shoplifting. And the thing that stood out for me is he said that when he posted about just his support of this happening, that he was labeled by some as being right-wing or something. And he's like, I didn't know that expecting consequences from someone shoplifting, that would be something that's considered right-wing. But yeah, for me, I don't even understand that. So I remember looking at my husband and I was like, okay, so that makes you red or blue because you feel like if a person shoplifts, they should be arrested. Like, I didn't know that was a red, to me, that's like 1 + 2 = 3. Like, I don't even get it.
Well, so the history of that, I'm not saying, and this is not me agreeing with it, but the history of that is that there was an idea, and I think that this is probably true in some isolated cases, that there are people who shoplift or steal based on absolute need or their family's absolute need.
Absolutely, yes.
And I'm not suggesting that was the case here at Fred Meyer at all. I'm just saying that it's not based on a fantasy. That actually is something that sociologists and cops have talked about, and cops have said like they've seen that but you cannot decide to not arrest people for theft. You can't make that decision. I completely agree with you. But I would also caution, Charlie and maybe other people to not do not look to any sort of comment field or a text line for what every person. Remember when years ago when KIRO stopped allowing texts, KIRO Radio stopped allowing texts on the My Northwest site. It was because it was something like, I don't know, 2% of the text of the people who would comment wrote something like 80% of the text. Like they're there for the fight and for the insult and for the fray and all those sort of things. I'm not sure that the public at large would see Charlie as a right winger for celebrating the fact that shoplifters got arrested. Anyone who's been on the store owning end of shoplifting, I think we're all pretty pleased when people who steal get popped.
I don't know that we are, because if we're being, just keeping it a buck, as G. Scott would say, when you go into these, stores, I'm thinking about my local pharmacy that I used to go to on Rainier.
And everything's locked up.
And they're having to hire people to be there, and stuff happens and police aren't prioritizing it. And instead of having consequences, we just create a fund for the stores. And okay, here's the deal. If someone has
I agree with you on all those
if
things.
someone has need, you could easily say, okay, I arrested this person for stealing formula, and now we're going to connect them to resources with this organization. But it's been proven these are like rings that are allowed to operate. And I'm just trying to figure out what the motive is for saying, I'm trying to understand the motive, because I'm suspicious that it's a bleeding heart. I am.
Well, that's fair to be suspicious of that. I think that's entirely fine. I mean, personally, I think people who shoplift, it's sort of like the question about drugs. I understand drugs largely are self-harm, but there's a longer tail on who you bought the drugs from and what the money goes to, and all that sort of changes the formula a little bit. But I understand the idea that there are people who are addicted, and what they are worried about, and anyone who's been an addict will tell you, like it reduces, as Irvine Welsh said about heroin addiction. Like, the good thing about it is it takes all the other decisions away. You're making one decision every single day. Now, the point is that so these people don't have the agency. They've lost their own agency on their own life because they're an addict. Getting them arrested is how you get them into treatment. And I would say that is true with the shot. Like, if these are situations, you're completely right. You pivot into, all right, this person was trying to, great example, when I was working for Casey Family Programs, it's a foster care nonprofit, big foster care nonprofit. And we're sitting in East St. Louis. I'm talking to a family about a kid who ended up getting popped by CPS because he was stealing electricity from a neighbor's house. He got arrested by the police for stealing electricity, and he gets put in the system, and he's in juvenile hall. He gets taken away from the family, blah, blah, blah. Turns out that he was stealing it because the family's electricity got cut off, and he was running an extension cord from his house to their house. Now, the question that the person who was telling us about this said, would it not have been cheaper and more effective, for the city to just pay for the electrical bill, which was something like $120, and two, try and engage in this, because this wasn't a kid who was like inherently, but now you've put him in a system that is not going to improve his outcome. He's going to be on a wreck. Like, all of the bad things are going to stem from your decision to make an arrest in this case. So I understand the nuance here, but I think in what you're saying is 100% true. Like, the system should be flexible enough to see, like, wait a minute, this is an exception. This is someone who's hungry. This is someone who's needy. This is someone who is stealing diapers because they've got a kid. Like, that kind of thing, the system should be flexible enough to understand that point. I completely agree with you.
It sounds reasonable.
Totally.
I find when a lot of these polls happen that most folks seem pretty, like, logical and reasonable.
And compassionate.
And it just doesn't seem to translate into policy.
Nope.
And I don't know if we need more people running for... Actually, I do think that's a big need is that we need more people who are willing to serve politically. And I think a lot of reasonable-minded people are like, I'm good. Like, they don't want to go into those waters. Right? Yeah. And so then you have some folks that just get into it for power or activism, and that's not the purpose of the role when you're a leader, in my opinion, that it's not about that.
I agree.
Yeah.
The willing aren't able, and the able aren't willing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like, I remember I was interviewing Valerie Jarrett, who was the chief of staff for during the Obama administration. She was like, "Oh, I hope one day you'll consider, public service." And I remember shuddering, like, that part of you where you feel like, don't we all have a duty to serve in some way, whether it's our jury duty or whether it's, saying, "Hey, I'll go serve on the school board, do something." But yeah, it's hard out there, especially with social media in the fray now. Anything you say can and will be used against you. And in this political environment, you could have people showing up at your house.
Absolutely.
Which is wild. How much more time do we have? Are we...
You got about a minute.
Okay, that's about a minute. Well, it may take a little long to...
I've got a little bit of that chart.
Okay, well, let's do it a few seconds because it was pretty good.
When I write about shoplifting enforcement, I do see the comments on my articles. Apparently, being against shoplifting is a right-wing thing now. Believing people shouldn't steal somehow makes me a simp for a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Never mind that theft drives up the cost for everyone and hits hardest on the families who are poor and honest and don't steal, which is most poor people. And never mind the biggest thing we're missing. When we don't assign consequences, we lose the chance to change the trajectory of a human life.
Joe, what was your reaction to hearing some of that?
I mean, I see a lot of shoplifting in my neighborhood because I live near the the Target downtown. So I see like organized shoplifting. Yeah. So it is really, it clearly needs consequences. And I've never witnessed somebody shoplifting out of necessity, out of poverty, but I certainly don't see it. I'm sure that it happens, but like Mike said, I think we need to have a system is flexible enough to know the difference.
Yeah, well, I enjoyed Charlie's commentary. 7:35 weekdays. All right, it's time to check in with traffic. Nate?
Yeah, this one brought to us by Seattle Sports and Federal Way. We just cleared that collision South 5 with South 300. It's on that right shoulder now, but it's left you with 6 miles of scattered backup stretching back to South 200. Seattle to Federal Way right now at 50 minutes. We have a new collision eastbound at Midspan on the West Seattle Bridge, blocking 2 right lanes. You're backed up all the way to the west end of the bridge around the corner there. North 5 into Seattle, we're heavy from the West Seattle Bridge to the Ship Canal. South 5 packed at Lake City Way to I-90, about 35 minutes from Linwood in the downtown. Seattle to Everett still hanging on at 40 minutes. We've been at 40 minutes all afternoon. Bellevue to Everett at 50. Crossing the lake from Bellevue to Seattle right around 25 minutes on both of our bridge routes. Bellevue to South Center on 405 is pretty thick from Northeast 8th and Bellevue all the way to Northeast 44th near the VMAC, and then it clears up for you right away. Bellevue to Renton is a half-hour drive. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube and click subscribe to get fresh video content daily. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio is right there with you.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
On your smart speaker before you head out the door.
We continue to be in recovery mode on northbound I-5.
Watch live on YouTube or the KIRO News Radio app.
Newfangled idea of having to see the people while they're talking.
The office, the gym, wherever you are.
Get on the YouTube channel. The whole gang's there.
KIRO News Radio. 97.3 FM, powered by MyNorthwest.com.
For 250 years, Americans have believed in one powerful idea, that we are meant to live free. Free to work hard, free to move, free to enjoy life without being held back. But if the natural effects of aging are slowing you down, it might be time to declare your independence from aging. John Curley here. Longevity Medical Clinic has been treating the undesirable effects of aging for nearly 30 years. They have more clinical experience with actual patient care than any longevity practice in the country. I've been a patient for 17 years. Wow, time flies when you got a lot of energy. I don't know where I'd be today without longevity. Longevity Medical Clinic was started so people can get back to living life on their own terms, walking, working, exercising, and enjoying the moments that matter most. This year, as we celebrate 250 years of American independence, take a stand for your own freedom. Get your free health analysis at Longevity Medical Clinic. Find out more at lmclinic.com.
Are you looking to buy a house, but like everyone, you're priced out of the Bellevue, Kirkland, and Seattle market? Many buyers have the income, the credit, and the desire to own, but simply don't have the down payment, often at least $75,000 just for a starter home. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue with a great opportunity for home buyers. Introducing our Legacy Opportunity Loan. Legacy Group Capital has a select group of 100 new construction, single-family, and townhomes in the top Western Washington locations. Acquire a new construction home with no down payment, allowable closing costs paid, and a competitive rate. Yes, that's no down payment and some closing costs paid by Legacy. A wise man once said, the hardest part of winning in real estate is just getting in. And now you can with our Legacy Opportunity Loan. So get in the game.
Limited properties available to qualified Washington borrowers. Learn more about this limited opportunity at LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital LLC at MLS ID 99045. Visit LegacyG.com for additional program details.
Hey, I know something you probably haven't done in a while. Climb into your crawl space or your attic. Yeah, me neither. Mike Salk here. And most homeowners avoid those areas for good reason. But it's important to check on them regularly, especially here in the Northwest, where groundwater can wreak havoc and many homes lack the proper insulation in these spaces. So when it's hot in the summer, your house gets even hotter. And guess what? When it's cold in the winter, your house gets even colder because you don't have enough insulation. The good news, you don't have to crawl into those dingy areas because Crawl Pros will do it. They go where you don't want to. That's what they did at my house. They found a little rodent intrusion and they found the insulation problem. So yeah, they can help you get it all fixed just like they did with me. And if you need any work done, local utility companies offer rebates that could save you thousands on your project. Don't just assume that your crawl space and attic are in great condition. Do what I did. Call Crawl Pros today. Schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
Hey, it's Doctors King and Copstein from K2 Vision. If you're at the stage where you need readers, whether you've had LASIK or not, it may be time to consider K2 Vision RLE. I tell my King LASIK patients, laser vision correction won't solve the eventual need for reading glasses due to an aging, dysfunctional lens.
But K2 Vision RLE will. It's not a question of if your lens becomes dysfunctional, it's when. At that point, you'll need reading glasses and could benefit from refractive lens exchange. K2 Vision RLE is a quick, painless procedure that restores distance and near vision permanently. In other words, no glasses, no contacts, and no readers.
And no cataracts.
Exactly. After K2 Vision RLE, you will never develop a cataract.
K2 Vision doctors have performed over 150,000 procedures and followed the outcomes. They have the experience to know when it's your right time for RLE. Schedule your free Zoom consult today at k2visionrle.com. K2 Vision RLE. No readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts.
Did you know that nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all? That may be the reason why your home is way too hot in the summer and way too cold in the winter. It may also be the reason that your energy bills are sky high. Right now, Insulation Northwest is offering a free inspection of your home's insulation. This is a $199 value and it's absolutely free, no obligation. Just call today and Insulation Northwest will arrange a time that works with your schedule. We'll perform a thorough exam of your home's insulation and give you the advice you need to start saving thousands. Everyone who calls today will also receive a free infrared screening of your home using the latest technology. This will help reveal any hidden flaws in your home's protective energy blanket. What do you have to lose? It only takes about an hour and it's absolutely free. Call Insulation Northwest today, the real insulation company.
InsulationNorthwest.com. KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good evening, I'm Aaron Granello. A Pierce County judge today set bail at $10 million for the man accused of killing a teen in Parkland in a robbery over a $10 necklace. Prosecutors argued for the high bail, noting 21-year-old Brandon Torres Mesa was on the run for 2 months before being caught by the FBI in Mexico.
He was located in an area of Mexico so volatile that they had to send armed Black Hawk helicopters to extract him.
Torres Mesa now facing murder and gun charges in the shooting death of 17-year-old Braylon Diaz back in May. Prosecutors say he was already facing charges in 3 other pending cases in Pierce County. Another arson arrest in the Spokane area. KIRO 7 TV's Gary Horker has more.
A man has been arrested in Spokane Valley accused of arson. The man is not accused of starting any of the major fires in the area, but Spokane County deputies say 21-year-old Joseph Procell sparked a brush fire. A nearby business had video appearing to show him starting it and walking away before then appearing to take a photo of the flames.
Deputies arrested Procell on felony charges of first-degree arson and second-degree malicious mischief. Also in Spokane, the county sheriff's office is investigating the first known death now tied to the Old Trails fire. 73-year-old Pat Speedy was a hospice patient. Her family says she suffered serious medical complications while she was being wheeled out of a nursing home during a chaotic evacuation. Spokesman Review reports Speedy died about a week later. More than 200 firefighters still working to keep a wildfire in check near Mount Rainier's Sunrise Visitor Center. Fire Information Officer Larissa Bogardis says the team is making headway.
We've worked really closely with the park on making sure that, we are able to remove that vegetation that could carry fire up to those historic structures, but also, maintain the natural landscape to the greatest extent possible.
Rest of Mount Rainier National Park is still open, but roads and trails near Sunrise are closed until further notice. That fire has burned nearly 170 acres and is 57% contained. Now to the real-time traffic desk. Here's Nate Connors.
Thanks, Aaron. Let's see. This is brought to you by your Seattle Mariners. So we've got this collision eastbound mid-span on the West Seattle Bridge, blocking 2 right lanes. Had 3 lanes blocked for a little while, so our backup is actually quickly thinning out. Still just a little bit of a slowdown left. North 5 into Seattle, heavy approaching the West Seattle Bridge. Up to the Ship Canal, less than 25 minutes to get through this. South 5, you're packed from Lake City Way to I-90. Linwood to Seattle's taking a half hour. Everett to Marysville, now less than 10 minutes. The only thing in your way is some scattered crowding between 526 and Highway 2. Eastbound 2, we're still looking at 6 miles of bumper-to-bumper backups between Monroe and Sultan. I'm not aware of any blocking problems here. It's just volume. Bellevue to South Center on 405 is going to take you 35 minutes, and it is heavy from Northeast 8th to the VMAC. Seattle to Federal Way has improved to a 40-minute commute. However, we have a new crash at South 260th, blocking the HOV lane. Don't miss fireworks nights all summer, presented by T-Mobile. The next show is August 21st as the Mariners take on the Cubs. Get your tickets at mariners.com/fireworks. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Got a nice week of weather in store here with temperatures in the mid to upper 70s each day. Morning clouds, afternoon sunshine. Right now, 79 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This hour brought to you by Wilcox Family Farm Eggs. Welcome back to the show. Yeah, John Curley Show. Mike Lewis here, as well as Angela Russell. Angela, what are your thoughts, just broadly speaking, before we get into the issue itself? What do you, broadly speaking, of sort of this greater therapeutical acceptance of psychedelics from mainstream medicine?
Cautiously intrigued, but mostly intrigued.
All right.
Yeah, that would be my headline. I want to know more. I'm fascinated. I guess to expand on why I am, sometimes I wonder when people do have drug addictions, how many of them were people who had a mental health issue that didn't get the treatment they needed and are trying to find a way to feel better.
Yeah, totally agree with you. One of the interesting things that's happened over the past few years is this idea that there are a couple of, and they had to do these experiments essentially illegally, rogue, on treating PTSD. This is really where the big breakthroughs happen. Treating PTSD with things like LSD or primarily mushrooms, heavy doses of mushrooms, and finding that it had, you didn't have to keep taking it. Like, it had enormous long-term benefits, and they were doing it on a lot of the initial group of Iraq War veterans, Afghan War veterans, and finding that it was shockingly effective.
So not having to do a daily dose for life, but having one experience with it.
And coupled with therapy, coupled with intensive therapy like that you could put them on a program that actually would have a long-term stabilizing effect. And this led to sort of larger issues with Health and Human Services and other departments saying, wait a minute, maybe there's something here. Maybe we should actually legitimize this research, at least make it legal enough that we can do more advanced. And the more research that's done, the more effective it's been. And now we find that veterans in the Puget Sound region will be part of a federal push to study how psychedelic drugs could be used to treat mental health conditions. This is a story of KNKX today. And here's the funny thing. Now, so this was allowed by President Donald Trump on an executive order. And here's the funny thing. And I've watched this happen in other places where I've been a reporter, in California here. Sometimes it is the conservatives who feel like that they have the political power or maybe the political stability to move into this area regarding drugs and drug legalization that the Democrats don't feel, because they feel like, of course, Democrats, you're pro-drug, you're pro, all that kind of stuff. That you find that conservatives actually will weigh into this area in a much more realistic fashion. Donald Trump has been behind the expansion and the decriminalization of psychedelic drugs since he's been, since he was running for office the first time around. Mm-hmm. And I think this is one of those positive developments that you talk to veterans, you talk to people who do counseling for veterans. I think this is it's a win-win as far as I can tell.
Yeah. I was looking up information on this because there's a book that I was reading at home related to PTSD and the use of psychedelics, and I was intrigued. And then I go online and find that Johns Hopkins has a whole thing in their psychiatry department. It's the psychedelics research, and is it psilocybin therapy? Mm-hmm. I mean, they got this is a reputable place doing the research. So I love this that our veterans who need this will have access, it sounds like, as part of a study. And I just hope it can help more people, because if you look at how many people in our country right now are dealing with anxiety and depression, the numbers are staggering. Absolutely staggering.
And the way it gets treated with a lot of more conventional modern medicines is to dampen the feeling of everything, to put you in sort of a semi-sleep state, which I guess to some degree will stop you from maybe feeling those things. Unfortunately, it stops you from feeling everything. And that doesn't necessarily help you on a path to getting this. Again, early studies would suggest, and of course, none of them are 100%, have 100% efficacy, but the fact is, it's been shockingly effective particularly for people suffering from PTSD and anxiety. And if this is something that can be, and the magic part of this whole thing is not the mushroom part of it, it's this, that it's not meant to be like your prescription for, say, I don't know, Zoloft or Prozac or Xanax or something. It's not meant to be forever.
Yeah.
It's meant to be a calibration once or twice that has this long tail.
It almost sounds too good to be true, but I hope, Joe.
Well, and it may be. I mean, let's hope that these studies will let us know whether or not it is.
Well, part of its success is also is detrimental to its it being adopted, because pharmaceutical companies are well aware that this is a treatment that they can't profit on long term, and a lot of these drugs that they're prescribing for PTSD, for depression and all those things, these are lifetime commitments, and they're cashing in for the duration of that patient's life. So that's I think a lot of the lobbying groups in the pharmaceutical industry are not big fans of any of this work, because they can't cash in.
Because you can't patent. I mean, I guess you could hybridize and develop your own
which they're trying to
mushroom.
Do. Yeah, they're trying
but generally speaking, that's something that people can find for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely, and they can grow themselves. And,
And Joe, I don't know, Matt, because I'm not on here all the time, but how much of your story you've shared. But what insights would you have on this conversation that you might want to add?
Well, I am a vocal psychedelic ambassador.
Okay, great. I didn't want to call you up and be like, hey, Joe, let me.
No, it's fine. So I have personally dabbled in psychedelics for most of my adult life, and I found them to be extremely therapeutic, especially for, and I can only speak to myself, but for treating, for helping to find the root causes of things like addiction, which I've had experience with as well, and some traumatic experiences. And the way it kind of works is, your brain, as you grow, you're born a clean slate, essentially. And your pathways to your emotions are just, you learn them as you go. And so as you get older and things happen to you and you're raised in a certain way and certain events occur in your life, the route to those emotions gets a little more complicated. So, whether it's the emotion of sadness or happiness, or or any number of thousands of different combinations of emotional gradients. And so you start to your brain creates all these routes to that emotion, and certain things happen, and your brain kind of creates a detour and
a workaround.
A workaround to get to that emotion, if it can get there at all. And what psychedelics do is they kind of clear those pathways, and they can help you get to those emotions a little more efficiently, or help you find another direct path without having to go all the way around the outside of the city to get to something that, as the crow flies, is right next door. And it also helps you. You're also seeing you learn to see yourself in a certain way. It's like you see yourself through a lens that gets muddy and covered in dirt and grime and whatever your lived experience is. And they kind of help to wipe the windshield, and you see yourself in a way that maybe you haven't in a really long time. And especially for somebody who is, if you struggle with depression or with drug addiction, you kind of start to you see yourself in a really negative way, and it's hard, especially if you're in the thralls of addiction at that moment. It's impossible to see yourself without that in getting in the way. You just see yourself as an addict, and you judge yourself, and you've been judged by others, and you're hopelessly locked into some addiction. But when you're able to wipe that windshield or wipe the mirror clean and get all the gunk off of it and see who you really are, or who you were at some point, then you realize, you have this magic aha kind of moment.
Which the psychedelic allowed you to.
Which also, to be candid, sometimes isn't easy either.
No, they can be incredibly challenging experiences. And that's why it's not, one size does not fit all. And that's why these studies are so important. And,
absolutely.
Johns Hopkins and these other research foundations getting involved is incredibly important.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Of course.
Yeah. All right, let's see what's happening on the roads. Hi there, Nate.
Hey, Angela, Lake Washington Windows and Doors with our update. We still got a collision eastbound midspan on the West Seattle Bridge, blocking 2 right lanes. Just a brief backup now at the scene. South 5 and South 260th heading into Federal Way. A collision still takes up the HOV lane. You're backed up to South 216th, which isn't bad. Seattle to Federal Way, a 40-minute commute. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway, 35 minutes. It is getting heavy once again, though, in Renton, from Renton into Kent, and then again between Pacific and Puyallup. North 405, we're bumper to bumper through those Renton S-curves. 35-minute trip from South Center to Bellevue. North 5 in Seattle, heavy just before the West Seattle Bridge of the Ship Canal Bridge. South 5 jams up at Lake City Way to I-90. And eastbound 2, still looking at this relentless 6-mile bumper to bumper backup between Monroe and downtown Sultan. Save $588 on every window, $1,088 on every door, plus free heat deflecting glass. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio is honored to bring home one of the nation's top awards in our industry, the prestigious National Edward R. Murrow Award for breaking news coverage. One award is the result of our team's hard work every single day, and none of it would be possible without you. You trust us with important information every time you choose us. Whether you listen over the air, on the KIRO News Radio app, or you watch us on YouTube, thank you.
You know how some parts of the house don't work? Let me explain. There's that closet that you've got that when you open it up, everything falls out. Or you try to find something, you can't because it's not working. There's too much stuff in there. And how about the garage? I know some people that can't park their car in the garage because there's everything else parked in the garage. You see what I'm saying? There might be some other parts of the house where it's just packed and there's no place to store anything. So maybe you've even gone to renting one of those storage units. Well, that adds up every single month. You can't even remember what's in there. So a better investment to get parts of those house working would be Closets by Design. The consultant comes to your house. They look at the problem. They know that each one of these problems that need to be solved have to be customized. But you don't get a big customized price. You're going to get 40% off plus an additional 15% off in 18 months, 0% financing on approved credit when paid in full. I really became a believer in Closets by Design when they came out to the barn in Cle Elum. You should see the work that they did. My goodness. 1-800-BY-DESIGN. That's 1-800-BY-DESIGN. That's closetsbydesign.com.
You know, I used to think all money managers were the same until I spoke with Fisher Investments.
Really? How different are they?
Fisher's investment counselors are dedicated to service, not sales, keeping clients up to date on their portfolio.
Well, they probably just invest in a bunch of mutual funds like I do.
Nope. They build a tailored portfolio based on their clients' personal goals, helping them stay on track for a comfortable retirement.
Well, they must make commissions selling products.
Actually, Fisher doesn't sell any commission-based products. They're a fiduciary, and they believe that's a conflict.
Then they have some kind of complex fee structure.
Nope. Fisher has a simple, transparent fee that's a percentage of their client's portfolio. So they do better when their clients do better.
It sounds like Fisher really is different.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Fisher Investments. Clearly different wealth management. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com/different. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This is Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Our summertime savings event means 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months, backed by our unbeatable warranties. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Guys, I'll never forget the first time I saw somebody get results at our clinic. He was an 81-year-old man who hadn't been intimate with his wife in over 8 years. Viagra had stopped working for him, and he was desperate for help. After several treatments, he walked into my office and told me he couldn't believe the results. Needless to say, this was a very happy man. This man made me a believer in what we do. He had taken pills for years, but he had never fixed the problem. When he came to us, we fixed the problem. Our treatment does what no pill can do. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. Change your life today, like the thousands of men who already have.
In addition to treating ED and Peyronie's disease, we now offer testosterone replacement therapy. With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Certain industries expose workers to hazardous chemicals. If you worked in a paper or pulp mill, or in aircraft manufacturing or painting at Boeing, and have a child born with birth defects, your child may be entitled to legal damages as a result of your exposure to such chemicals. Birth defects have been linked to toxic chemicals, metals, and solvents used in these industries. If your child was born with brain or spinal cord damage, organ or limb malformations, blindness, cerebral palsy, genetic damage, or other birth defects, and you're a past or present worker in a paper or pulp mill, aircraft manufacturing, or painting, contact us now toll-free at 1-866-99-TOXIC. Your children may be entitled to legal damages. If you're a past or present worker in a paper or pulp mill or aircraft manufacturing or painting at Boeing, and your child has a birth defect, call toll-free at 1-866-99-TOXIC. Your call is confidential. 1-866-99-TOXIC. Message authorized by Weinstein Cajano, 600 University Street, Suite 1620, Seattle, Washington.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz. If your air conditioner is barely hanging on, CM Heating has one of the best offers I've heard this summer. Right now, you can get any size high-efficiency AC system for just $179.99 a month with zero upfront costs. And here's the game changer. CM Heating's Comfort as a Service program includes lifetime repairs, annual maintenance, and even filters at no additional charge ever. Go to cmheating.com and schedule your free estimate online today.
License number CMHEAHL 751LW.
Spike O'Neill here. If your loved one's caregiver is planning a vacation or just needs a break, why not consider Aegis Living Respite Care? A short-term stay that provides 24/7 expert care, Aegis Living amenities, and peace of mind for you and your family. Go to aegisliving.com/spike to schedule a visit today.
When it comes to disease threats, keeping people in the dark is never a good idea. Thousands of monkeys are confined in laboratories across Washington, including on UW's Seattle campus. Records uncovered by PETA show many carry deadly diarrheal infections that spread to humans. But these laboratories aren't telling state health agencies. Tell Governor Ferguson it's time for transparency and better disease reporting. Visit PETA.org/Washington.
Paid for by PETA.
It's the little things at Subaru of Puyallup, a team that listens, straightforward pricing. Through August 31st, incredible financing on select models during the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Subaru of Puyallup, your stress-free dealership.
The John Curley Show mailbag is brought to you by Advanced Hair Restoration.
Welcome back to the show. Mike Lewis, Angela Poe Russell here. Here is the time when we turn the show from our control to your control.
Yes, we get to read some of your text messages. Off topic, Bobby in Tacoma, Angela and Mike just made my drive home better.
Ooh, that just made my show better. Isabel in the 253, two of my favorite people. And yes, I am yelling. It was all caps.
Brandon in Tacoma, Mike, fellow bald Modesto in here. Great to hear you repping Motown.
They actually send, as soon as you get bald in Modesto, they send you elsewhere. On my end, we both ended up in Seattle. From the 206, Mike, recently you mentioned enjoying Guinness Zero. I decided to try it, and I am drinking less alcohol. I really like it. Thank you for sharing that option. It is singularly my favorite non-alcoholic beer in existence.
Okay, nice. I'll have to try it. Okay, so we also played the national anthem that my daughter sang at the Seattle Storm game. Sean in Arlington said, very nicely done. I'd need a teleprompter for the lyrics.
From Joey in the 360, that was absolutely beautiful. I second that.
And Doug in Mount Vernon, okay, look out. Someone is challenging Whitney Houston for best version of the national anthem. So, that is very kind, Doug.
This is where I got called out once before on KIRO on the Gian Ursula show because I was arguing for the Marvin Gaye version as being my favorite ever, and the audience universally said the Whitney Houston version is
Whitney's
better.
It's epic. It's pretty epic.
You should start with this one.
Oh, okay. How did we get on this? About the rise of the functional drink.
Yes.
The drink that does something for you with your gut health or with your energy or your calm. And I've got matcha fever. So Patrick and Edmund said, Angela, you didn't say they were closed on Monday. So I guess Mina's Matcha in Seattle is closed on Mondays.
And you set everyone up for wanting to go there too.
Sorry.
From Ann in Renton, I want that matcha.
Oh, me too. Rachel in 425, if you don't want to take Xanax, take theanine. We determined that theanine is in matcha. It cuts the jitters if you take one before coffee, or helps if you wake up in the middle of the night.
This is our health segment.
Theanine, yes.
On City Lights aging poorly, David, the naked mailbox guy, small claim settlements in Washington can be up to $10,000 for individuals. He is right. We said $5,000. That applies only to business. Individuals can get 10.
Okay.
And now it is time for the letter of the day.
All right, Matt in Ravensdale, you're the one. Your letter is the one. Your show today has really got me thinking about some heavy topics. Like, who would win a fight, Andre the Giant or the Jolly Green Giant? Or if I ate myself, would I double in size or disappear? Deep thoughts.
Deep thoughts.
That's all she wrote.
Sounds like he got into Joe's stash there.
I think he did. He's trying to find himself.
That's right.
And he's finding himself double.
Yes.
All right, Nate.
All right.
You know what time it is.
Yes, sir. We just cleared that collision eastbound on the West Seattle Bridge. No longer any backups there. South 5 and South 260th heading into Federal Way. Still got a collision blocking your HOV lane. You're bumper to bumper now at the South 200th, almost to 188th now. Seattle to Federal Way is up just a few to a 45-minute drive. North 405 is solid now from South Center through the Renton S-curves. 25 minutes from South Center to Bellevue. Bellevue to South Center coming the other ways at a half hour. It is still jam-packed from mid-Bellevue down to the VMAC. Bellevue to Everett, 40 minutes. Seattle to Everett, just a half hour. Everett to Marysville has cleared out. We still have a 6-mile solid backup between Monroe and Sultan on eastbound 2. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
I've lived here almost my entire life.
Seattle's morning news host, Charlie Harger.
I love Seattle. I love that I'm able to raise my children here.
Hear Charlie's 7:35 commentary every morning on Seattle's morning news.
So when I see something that I think might need some attention, that's me pointing out areas of improvement. That is not me saying that Seattle is somehow bad.
You can watch all of Charlie's commentaries anytime on the KIRO Newsradio YouTube channel.
Summer's here, and it's the perfect time to tell you that Integrity Roofing and Construction has been serving and supporting our Puget Sound communities for 10 years. If your roof is aging, storm damage, or just ready for an upgrade, now's the perfect time to schedule your free consultation. With products that last longer and perform better, Integrity's team brings full transparency so you know exactly what your home needs before you spend a dime. And Integrity has locations from Issaquah to Sequim to Everett and Gig Harbor. Visit IntegrityRC.com. That's IntegrityRC.com right now. Integrity Roofing and Construction, where doing the right thing matters.
Did you know that nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all? That may be the reason why your home is way too hot in the summer and way too cold in the winter. It may also be the reason that your energy bills are sky high. Right now, Insulation Northwest is offering a free inspection of your home's insulation. This is a $199 value, and it's absolutely free, no obligation. Just call today, and Insulation Northwest will arrange a time that works with with your schedule. We'll perform a thorough exam of your home's insulation and give you the advice you need to start saving thousands. Everyone who calls today will also receive a free infrared screening of your home using the latest technology. This will help reveal any hidden flaws in your home's protective energy blanket. What do you have to lose? It only takes about an hour and it's absolutely free. Call Insulation Northwest today, the real insulation company.
InsulationNorthwest.com. When you see this in your kitchen,
The stainless steel fridge is covered in fingerprints.
you hear this.
Leslie, people are going to think you were raised in a barn or by wolves, or raised in a barn by wolves.
Fortunately, Wyman Stainless Steel 3-in-1 cleans, shines, and protects to give you the best shine. A spray and a wipe will have your fridge shining like a mirror.
Wow, my fridge looks brand new. Your fridge looks amazing, Leslie. Sorry, I was being a little dramatic earlier.
Your kitchen says a lot about you. Let it brag with Wyman.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
KIRO News Radio is right there with you.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
On your smart speaker before you head out the door.
We continue to be in recovery mode on northbound I-5.
Watch live on YouTube or the KIRO News Radio app.
Newfangled idea of having to see the people while they're talking.
The office, the gym, wherever you are.
Get on the YouTube channel. The whole gang's there.
KIRO News Radio. 97.3 FM, powered by MyNorthwest.com.
Dr. Mark Wagner has performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures, including mine, at Seattle Sports Regenerative Medicine. And we've interviewed over 100 of Dr. Wagner's patients, and we hear the same things. It changed my life. I'm back to doing the activities I love without pain. It really works. It's remarkable.
We love helping people get back to living life to the fullest and doing the things they enjoy most.
They also must really enjoy not having the pain and recovery time with surgery.
Stem cell therapy is a 60-minute, non-surgical, minimally invasive procedure to eliminate pain, regenerate cartilage, treat tendon and ligament tears, osteoarthritis, and chronic tendinitis.
And you only use the patient's own stem cells.
That's right, their body's own stem cells.
So, whether it's a hip like me, an elbow, shoulder, or knee...
Don't forget ankles, wrists, and thumbs.
Yep, those patients too. Before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD first. Learn more at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Paid political announcement.
Hey, Seattle, did you know your groceries could be getting more expensive? Seattle City Hall is considering an ordinance that could put grocery rewards and coupons on the chopping block. The mayor's proposed fair pricing ordinance could have the exact opposite outcome and make everyday living more expensive. Protect Seattle Savings is a coalition dedicated to defending the everyday savings that Seattle families rely on. Visit ProtectSeattleSavings.com to learn more and join the cause.
Paid for by Protect Seattle Savings.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your